giving the exams on 5th of July.
Okay, so good morning everyone once again. Welcome back. I welcome all the students in this Zoom meeting as well as on the YouTube. It's a very great pleasure to host the session on law and this pandemic time, and during this exam time we are launching this super quick revision series. Aakash Pednekar is one of the very wonderful dynamic faculty. So I request him to आकाश आप मुझे दिख नहीं रही.
मैं दिख नहीं रहा हूँ. Can the other students see me? Is the video visible?
Yes, proper.
Okay, Rushikesh ji, I think so. आप बस 2-3 pages slide कर दो. शायद से मेरा my video will be there somewhere on the, because since you are on Zoom there are 4 to 5 pages over here. And Rushikesh ji, will you keep adding students who are joining right now? Because there are many students who are joining in between. Yeah, okay. So let's start. Guys, thank you so much for joining once again. And today we are starting off the CA Inter Super Quick Revision for your law subject. Okay. I will try my level best to cover as much part as possible. You guys know that the session is going to be today for 3 hours and tomorrow for 3 hours. But don't worry, if at all the need be, okay, I will request the management, if at all we can have some additional day. Okay, so don't worry. My main motive is going to be कि भाई जितने ज़्यादा majority questions और sections cover हो जाएं lecture class में cover हो जाएं. ठीक है. By the way, is everybody comfortable with Hindi and English both? Is everybody comfortable with Hindi and English both? Okay. Okay. So first of all, it is going to be a very super quick revision. So what I can only request everybody, okay, who is sitting in this classroom for the next 3 hours to pay proper attention. Okay, कुछ भी आप भाई टाइम पास कर रहे हो तो भाई बाजू में छोड़ दो. ठीक है. 3 घंटे के लिए, आज का 3 घंटा और कल के 3 घंटे के लिए, if you pay adequate amount of attention, you'll be in a very good position to score a 50 plus, minimum 50 plus आपको स्कोर करने में भाई बहुत हेल्प करने वाला ये सिलेबस. ओके, अगर if at all the need be, if there is an additional day required, I will definitely tell the management that one more day is required to complete the entire thing, and basis that then I can definitely tell you that by you will be in a very good position to score a 70 plus, provided you pay adequate attention in these many number of hours where the lecture is getting conducted. Okay, now there can be cases where your internet might go down or something like that. Don't worry, the video is available on YouTube. अगर आपका भी बीच में अगर internet चला गया, ठीक है, this I have to say because the students have joined all across the country, तो भाई हर जगह पे internet अच्छा नहीं होता. If at all your internet goes down or something, don't worry, that particular part, okay, 15-20 minutes worth of part which is missed, you can watch it on YouTube. Okay, बस please make a note कि आपका ये time से ये time miss हो गया. Now the third important point is that please keep yourself on mute. Okay, in any circumstances don't unmute yourself. Okay, because it disturbs the other students. There are around 70-75 people. Yeah, Mahita, don't worry. There are other students. There are students from South also, so I'll try and keep it 60% in English, 40% Hindi. Okay, and secondly, the point is that please stay on mute. The reason is that there are around 70-75 people who have joined. Okay, and it disturbs the entire class. Okay, so please make sure that you guys are on mute all the time. If at all you guys have any doubts, something, I will try my level best, post it in the comment section. Okay, I will, when I'm taking a break of 5 minutes or so, I will read all the doubts which you guys are posting on the chat box. But since it's a super quick revision, I'm extremely sorry, but doubt solving, agar if I sit to solve all the doubts, okay, then you guys know that the entire revision will not be completed. Okay, so without wasting any time, so let's start. Everybody attention on the board. So guys, first things first. Now when it comes to these notes, don't worry, I will make sure that these notes reach you. Okay, if you guys have attended my sessions before, then you might have already have these notes. If you don't have these notes, don't worry. Okay, just when the class is going on, if you want the notes right away, take a screenshot or something like that. If you when the screen is being visible in front of you, the one slide will be visible in front of you for good amount of 5 minutes. Okay, so please make sure abhay, on the spot you guys are taking the screenshot of it, and along with that keep me taking notes. Okay, small things which I'm saying, please keep me taking notes. Got it? Yeah, are the instructions clear? Any doubts in the instructions? And one second, let me disable this thing first. Yeah, I would request somebody who has just made this annotation, can you please just remove this annotation, guys? It's disturbing. Just because I don't think so I can remove that annotation. जिसने भी बनाया है वो जिस गलती से हो गया होगा. Okay, perfect. Now, let's start. Guys, as you're aware of that, the first we are looking at the what are the various types of companies. Okay, the various types of companies, they are divided on the basis of first liability. They are divided on the basis of liability. Then on the basis of liability, on the basis of size, and on the basis of control. Okay, on the basis of liability, we have various types of companies. That is companies that are limited by guarantee, companies that are limited by shares, and then we have unlimited companies as well. On the basis of size, we have companies that are public companies, private companies. In private companies, we have something known as one person company, small company, normal private company. Public company में दो type होती है, listed public and unlisted public. Okay. Now, why is this part important? Because it majority times comes in your MCQs. Okay, chapter number 1 and chapter number 2 से majority MCQs आते हैं पेपर में. तो and we know our strategy is going to be very simple. Okay, 30 marks of MCQ, 70 marks of descriptive. We have to make sure minimum 90% correct answers should go in the MCQs. So you'll be in a respectable position to score a 25 here. And over here, आपका minimum, मैं अगर example लूँ 5 mark का question है, you should be in a position to score 2.5. So you should minimum have a 50% correct answers in the descriptive. Okay, basis that you will be in a 35 position here. 35 plus 25, that gets you a respectable 60 plus. Okay, this should be your strategy. So please make sure that you guys pay adequate attention to the MCQs as well. ठीक है, and the chapter number 1 and chapter number 2 is majorly based on MCQ. यहाँ से MCQ बहुत सारे बनते हैं. Okay, चलिए शुरू करते हैं. सबसे पहले फर्स्ट MCQ जो पेपर में आ सकता है is this: what is the definition of company? Remember, company means a company that is incorporated under this act and incorporated under previous company law. So if at all Companies Act 1956 के अंदर, so if at all Companies Act under Companies Act 1956 there is a company that was incorporated. I'll give you an example: Reliance Industries Limited. Reliance was a company incorporated under 56. Can Reliance say that don't apply 2013 act on me, apply the old act? Reliance cannot say that. The reason being that in the 2013 act there is a definition under 2 clause 21 which clearly says company means a company incorporated under this act, that is the 2013 act, and any previous company law. So whichever previous company law you are incorporated, you will be a company under the 2013 act, and automatically the 2013 act will apply on you. That is the first point. Got it? Okay. Second point is that I'm going a bit fast for the first 10-15 minutes. I want to gauge upon whether this speed is proper or not. Okay. Now, next point is about the definition of a holding company. Okay. The definition of the holding company is not properly defined in the act. They simply say that holding company in relation to one or more other companies means a company of which company is a subsidiary. The language is pretty difficult. Yeah, understand. There's a company A Limited. A Limited is holding in B Limited. This simply means that the moment B Limited satisfies all the criteria of a subsidiary company, automatically A Limited will be called as a holding company. Okay, that is the simple meaning of that line. The moment B Limited becomes a subsidiary, A Limited will become a holding company. Okay, now that is the only point. So it is quite obvious. A question coming on holding company is very unlikely, but a question coming on the definition of subsidiary company is very likely. Okay, you might get a question on this directly. एक definition वाला आ सकता है या तो फिर MCQ में आ सकता है. ठीक है, एकदम simple फंडा है, देख लो भाई. Understand what is a subsidiary company? Look at this. I call it two ways. First is the actual holding. First is the actual holding तरीका. दूसरा is the मुंह बोला तरीका. दूसरा is the मुंह बोला way. ठीक है, what is the actual holding way? Understand. A Limited is holding, A limit is holding in B limited how much? Minimum, sorry, more than 50% of what? Voting power. If A limited is holding in B limited more than 50% voting power, B limited will satisfy the definition of subsidiary company. Okay. Now, along with this, is the voting power is the only criteria? No. If at all A limited, is holding in B limited, suppose nothing, they're holding nothing. Let's suppose a mere 5%, they're holding 5% voting power, but still there is a possibility that B limited could become subsidiary. How? By looking at this way. What is the other way? The composition of board of directors. Suppose if A limited is controlling the composition of board of directors of B limited. What do you mean by composition of board of directors of B limited? Suppose the board of directors, this is a round table conference. Okay, there are people sitting over here. The 6 people sitting over here. So in that case, if the A limit के बोलने पे B limit के directors out, A limit के बोलने पे direct B limit के directors आ जाते हैं. A limit के बोलने पे majority B limit के directors को remove कर सकते हैं. A limit के बोलने पे majority B limit के directors can get appointed. So if A limited has this kind of a power, to control the composition of board of directors of B limit. If A limit has that kind of power in B, in that case we can say that A limit is the holding company and B limit is a subsidiary company. So remember guys, there are two ways of a particular company to become a subsidiary company. The first way is the simple route. If at all A limit is holding in B limit more than 50% voting power, that is the first point. And second point is that if at all A limit is controlling the composition of board of directors of B limited, then in that case B limited will become the subsidiary company of A limited. I hope you guys get the concept. Dekho bhai. See, subsidiary company in relation to other company means a company in which holding company controls the composition of board of directors or controls or exercises more than 1/2 of total voting power, either on its own. The example that I gave you, that was either on its own or together with one or more its subsidiary companies. So if at all I'm holding through another subsidiary, then also that company will be my step down subsidiary company. Okay. Now, many majority kids get confused, sir. What is this 1/2? What is this 1/2? Why is this 1/2? Is it like something like this 1/2? No, it is not like that. You understand, when in the law angle, when you get something like this, they mean to say like this way. This is your 50% part, this is your 50%. So when they say, they're actually speaking about this 1/2 of the capital, 1/2 of the voting power part, they're speaking about this part. Okay. Now that is why they say 1/2, that is 50%. So more than 1/2 means more than 50%. Got it? See, they have given the definition also of composition of board of directors. The composition of board shall be deemed to be controlled by another company if that other company can appoint or remove all or majority of the directors. So if A limit has the power to remove all directors, A limit has the power to appoint all directors, A limit has the power to remove majority directors, A limit has the power to appoint majority directors, A limit will be a holding company and B limit will be a subsidiary company. Okay. Moving ahead, the definition of associate company, एकदम simple definition है guys, ध्यान सुनना. A limited, if at all A limited is holding in B limited, in what range? If A limit is holding in the range of 20% to 50%, okay, any percentage between 20 to 50, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, up to 50. Okay, in that case, we will start calling B limited as the associate company. We will start calling B limited as the associate company of A limited. Okay. And if at all A limited and C limited, they both form a joint venture. Okay, then this joint venture company will also be an associate of A. This joint venture will also be an associate company of C limited. Okay, so that is a simple definition of associate company. Let's read that point. Focus karo. Dhyan se. Everybody attention on the board. Associate company is another company, which means a company in which that other company has significant influence. Now we'll understand what exactly is significant. Hold on. But which is not a subsidiary company and includes a joint venture company. So I already explained to you what is about the joint venture concept. Okay, now let's see what is significant influence. See, significant influence means control of minimum 20% of total voting power or control of participation in business decision under an agreement. Okay, so what do we come to know about this right now? Focus karo. If you notice from the definition of significant influence, we came to know that minimum it should be 20%. From the definition of associate companies, significant influence, we came to know that significant influence will be deemed to be there if at all A is holding into B, minimum 20% voting power. But I told you 20 to 50. How does the 20 to 50 come in place? Understand, listen to me very carefully. If at all the moment I am A limited is holding in B limited, let's suppose 52%. The moment they are holding more than 50%, automatically B limited, we will start calling B limited as a subsidiary. So therefore, by default, the range becomes 20 to 50. Okay, because even the moment A starts holding in B more than 50%, what will happen is that B limit will shift itself. B limit was earlier an associate company. Now we will start calling it as a subsidiary company. Okay, so therefore, by virtue of that, your minimum percentage is 20 and maximum is 50 in order to satisfy the definition of associate company. Okay, and along with that, if at all A limited and B limited have an agreement wherein A limited will participate in the business decisions of B, then also B limited will become a associate company. So there are three aspects to it. Understand very carefully three aspects. Okay, first is the 20% voting power criteria. Second is the control of participation in business decision under an agreement. Third criteria is that if I am a JV, if I'm a joint venture company, I will be an associate company. And the moment I become a subsidiary company, I will no longer be an associate company. Okay. Now, next point is that foreign companies understand the foreign company definition. Simple funda hai. Dhyan sunna. Let's suppose there's a company in Zimbabwe. Okay, there's a company in Zimbabwe which has just today it has got incorporated in Zimbabwe. Okay, but tell me, we will start applying the Companies Act to it or what? We will start applying the Company Act 27 to it? No. Why? Because we have to check a company. This is Zimbabwe is just a company incorporated outside India. It is a company incorporated outside India. Okay, the moment it has a business connection with India, then we will start calling that Zimbabwe company as a foreign company, and they will have to do little bit of compliances under the Companies Act. So remember, all the companies, there's a company incorporated in Egypt, Companies Act will not apply to that company. Okay, until unless that company has some business connection with India. Okay, only and only then we will start calling that company as a foreign company, not relevant at the inter level, very important at the final level. Okay. Now, another important definition of government company. This is something that is going to come in every time. Okay. Acha, by the way, just to give you an important notification, out of these 10 chapters of company law, the chapter of company audit. Okay, company audit chapter is going to be covered in the audit revision. Okay, the audit revision which is scheduled, I think so, on the 16th or the 17th. In that time, I'll be covering the company audit revision. Okay, that chapter will be covered there. That chapter will not be covered in these 2 days. Okay. Now, look at the government. Government company की वजह से मुझे याद है ये government company का company audit में बहुत ज़्यादा help होता है. Focus करो. एकदम simple फंडा है government company का guys. Let's suppose central government. Okay, central government is holding in A limited. State government is holding in B limited. Okay, state government plus central government, both of them are holding in C limited. Now, in order that I start calling A limited as a government company, what I have to do is that central government has to hold minimum 51% capital. They have to hold paid up share capital. They have to hold, central government has to hold minimum 51% paid up share capital in A limited. Only and only then I can start calling A limited as a government company. Similar points, if let's suppose Maharashtra government is holding in B limited minimum 51%. Okay, so in that case I'll start calling B limited as a government company. And if the state government plus central government, let's suppose state government is holding 21%, central government is also holding 31%. Okay, total कितना हो गया बच्चों? Total हो गया 21 plus 31, total हो जाएगा 52%. बराबर है? Since both these governments are holding minimum 51%, therefore we can start calling C limited as a government company. Okay, just 1 second, let me open the YouTube. Okay, Prahlad, yes, this lecture will be uploaded on YouTube. Okay, now let's go on to the next point, guys. Let's go on to the next point. This is the definition of government company. So if I remember, there is a difference between subsidiary company ka definition. In order to be a subsidiary company, the idea was you need to have more than 50%. But over here it is minimum 51%. So don't get confused in that. Okay, this is one area where institute will catch you. Okay, and another important point, subsidiary of a government company is also a government company. So let's take for example, central government is holding in A limited. Let's suppose they are holding 60%, and A limited is holding in B limited. Let's suppose it is also holding 60%. Now A limited is automatically a government company, right? Because it is fulfilling that definition of 2 clause 45. Said government is holding in this company minimum 51%, right? 60% hold kar raha hai. Okay, and B limit, A limit is holding in B limit how much? 60%. Automatically B limit becomes a subsidiary of A. Therefore, it also becomes a government company. Okay, so always remember, subsidiary of a government company is also a government company. I hope that concept is clear to everybody. Okay, are we clear till now? Are we clear till now, guys? It's 10 minutes down the session. Are we clear? Are you guys okay with this kind of this speed, or you guys want me to go slow? What is the case?
No, sir.
This is good, sir.
This is good. This is good speed. Okay, I'm giving you the opportunity to reply. I'm giving you opportunity to reply right now. Okay, please reply majority. I'm going to go with the majority. Okay, because see, I mean, this is a super quick revision, so it has to be fast. Okay. Chalo, perfect. Majority of you guys have said yes. Okay, perfect.
Okay, sir.
Okay, chalo. Very good. Now let's go to the next point. A very important definition from exam perspective, guys. 2 clause 68. Just let me tell you this point. Focus karo, dhyan se. There are private companies, there are public companies. Okay, private companies in this entire discussion, in this entire 6 hours of discussion today and tomorrow, I am going to call private companies into 2 parts: 1-person company and a normal private company. Sir, what do you mean by a normal private company? Understand, 1-person company definition 262. Okay, normal private company definition 268. Public company definition 2 clause 71. Okay, so whatever we are learning under 268 right now what we are learning about a normal private company. Now the normal private company is something that is not, now normal private company is not a word. Okay, I am using that word just to differentiate between 1-person company and a normal private company. Okay, therefore, in the exam you're not supposed to use the word normal private. It is only a simple private company, but for the sake of understanding I'm using that word. Okay, now understand, whenever guys you want to understand the concept very well. Now see, whenever let's suppose there are 3 people, there are 2 people, A and B. Both of them want to incorporate a company. They will have to go where? They will have to go to the ROC, fill the form, right? The incorporation forms you'll have to fill online. Okay? And when you're filling the incorporation forms, that time you'll have to submit one document. That document is known as Articles of Association. What is the document name? Articles of Association. We call them at AOA. AOA, they're also known as internal rules. What are they known as? Internal rules. Okay, now in these internal rules, when I'm going to the ROC and telling ROC, please incorporate me, okay, as a private company, I have to make sure in my internal rules I put 3 important rules. 3 rules. And what do we call these rules? We call these rules as 3 statutory restrictions. What do we call them as? 3 statutory restrictions. Okay, what are these statutory restrictions? Simple point. Okay, when you book a ticket, you get a PNR number, right? PNR. What is the first point? Public issue of security is not allowed. Public issue of securities is not allowed. I cannot issue my shares. I cannot issue my debentures to the general public. I can issue it only to the people whom I know. I can issue it only to my friends and family, the people whom I know. I cannot ask the entire India, please come and give me money. I cannot do that. I cannot issue securities to the public. Okay, second point. And for number of members has to be maximum 200. I will make sure that number of members is maximum 200. And there is going to be restriction on transfer of shares. Okay, I cannot sell my share to anybody whom I want. Okay, there are various restrictions put in place, okay, in the articles, so that you don't get any outsider in the company. My perspective of opening a private company, I want to keep my private company private. 3-4 days before, okay, Zerodha's promoter Nitin Kamath, he issued a statement, if you remember, on the perspective of his 100 crore salary. He clearly stated that Zerodha is a private company. I am under no obligation to explain anything to anyone. Okay, but still he clarified because people were misinterpreting. Okay, so remember, my perspective of opening a private company, Mr. A and B, they both want to open a private company, is to keep things private. I don't want any outsider in the company. I will give share only to that person who has to come inside. Okay, so therefore remember the 3 statute restrictions. PNR, majority MCQs in your ICA study, ICA MCQ booklet are on this point. PNR. Okay, public issue of security is not allowed. Number of members maximum 200, and there is going to be restriction on transferability of shares. There is no free transferability of shares. as in the case of a public company. In the case of public company, whomsoever you want, sell the share, no problem. Okay, but over here there is restriction. Okay. Acha, one more point. In the case of number of members, maximum 200. Okay. In this case, if at all there are joint member, husband, wife buying share together, okay, we will count them as one. Okay, and I am not going to count, not to be counted, not to be counted. How, whom I will not count? I will not count my current employee who is also my member. I will not count him. And ex-employee who is also my member. I will not count these people. Okay. This is from the perspective of ESOP. If I'm giving ESOP, if I've given ESOPs to my employees and they've exercised it and now they've become my shareholder member. So I am not going to count these people. Okay. The moment they become my member and they're also my employees, I am not going to count them in this limit of 200. Okay. That is, my friends, is your simple definition of private company. Let's go and read. Achha, one more important point. Remember, for a private company, the minimum paid up share capital is not yet prescribed. Paper mein MCQ banega. There will be a question in the MCQ. For a private company under section 268, minimum paid up share capital is 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakh, not yet prescribed. Answer is not yet prescribed. The government has not told you anything on the minimum paid up share capital as of yet. Okay. Look on the board. देखो.
Sir, sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to know that there's a definition clause of section 259 who talks about the officer, as well as 251 also talks about the key manager personnel. So, sir, in both, if we get the question of of officer, of definition of officer, so who
you will not? Don't worry. These I am the definition that I am covering over here. Those are the only important definitions in your entire syllabus. Okay. Don't worry, you're not going to be asked the definition on the officer. Okay. One second. Whosoever it is, please go on mute. Please, whosoever, please go on mute. And whatever.
Sorry.
But whatever question is there, please post it to me in the comment box. I'll be looking at the question. Don't worry. And from your question standpoint, remember, the KMP definition is important. The KMP definition in 251 is going to come in section number 19. When we cover the section number 19, that time we are going to cover the definition of KMP. But don't worry, the only definition of officer you're not going to get in your exam. Okay. The only important ones need to be covered. Okay. There are so many definitions in the section number 2, but all are not supposed to be covered. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Guys, please, I request everybody, whatever doubts it is not going to be possible for me to entertain doubts in this super quick revision. I hope you understand. We have to cover around 150 sections. Okay. So covering it in this short span will not be possible. So please post your doubt on the on this chat box. I will see the doubts. Don't worry. Okay. Definition of private company 268. We just saw minimum paid up share capital is not yet prescribed. Minimum paid up share not yet prescribed. And articles of the private company contain what? They contain PNR, public issue of security is not allowed. Number of members maximum 200. Are restriction on transferability of shares. When I am looking at the 200 limit, okay, in that case, who is not to be I'll be counting joint members as one. Whom I will not be counting current employees who are members and ex-employees who are members and who continue to stay as members. Okay, I will not count them in the 200 limit. Now, there is a table that I want you guys to understand over here. Focus karna. Just 1 second. Yeah. Make this table. This is a very important table. Okay. 1-person company, private company, public company. Okay. Minimum members required is 1. Minimum required is 2. In the case of public company, 7. Maximum members, make this table. Maximum members 1, maximum members 200, and here it is unlimited. There is no limit. Okay. And in the case of minimum directors, we have 1, 2, and 3. Please make sure you guys make this table. Okay. In the case of we just read 2 minutes before, we just read in the definition of private company that we read that minimum members of people are that required is 2 and maximum people is required is 200. Okay. Now I'm making this table just from the perspective of that there should not be any confusion in the numbers. Okay. Done. Copy कर लिया तुमने? 1-person company में you have 1, 1, 1. Private company में your minimum number is 2. Public में minimum number is 7. Okay. अच्छा. Sir, what is the definition of a public company? The definition of public company is very easy. They simply said that a company which is not a private company is a public company. Okay, nothing apart from this. And remember, in the case of public company also, the minimum paid up capital is not yet prescribed. Okay. Now, let me explain to you the concept of deemed public company. Focus करना ध्यान से. Everybody, attention on the board. Majority kids are confused in this point. Focus करना. Let's suppose there's a company A Limited and there's a company B Private Limited. Now, let's suppose B Private Limited is a subsidiary of A Limited. Okay, it's a subsidiary of A Limited. In that case, guys, this B Private Limited, we will deem it as a public company. It is a deemed public company. The moment it is a deemed public company, remember, all the exemptions which are available to the private company will not be available to this deemed public company. But majority kids get confused in the reverse case. Let's suppose B Private Limited is the holding company and we have A Limited as the subsidiary. A Limited is a subsidiary. Okay, remember, in this case, there is no concept of, there is no deeming fiction. Okay, this will remain private, this will remain public. Okay, so remember, the deeming fiction applies only when a public company is holding in private company. The deeming fiction does not apply vice versa. Okay. Now, and another important definition, in fact, in your ICI MCQ booklet.
Sir, so all restrictions of private will be applied.
All restrictions of private will be applied where, but all restrictions of
No,
private
no.
will be applied.
In case of deemed public company, sir.
Yes,
A Limited.
in case of deemed public company, all compliances which are there of all compliances of public company will have to be done by this B Private Limited. Okay, they will not get any exemption. Okay, then because the fact that it is a subsidiary of a holding company which is a public company. Therefore, it was similar to that concept where you remember, subsidiary of a government company is a government company. Similarly, subsidiary of a public company, if it's a private company, then it will be a deemed public company. Okay, and they will not get any exemptions which are there for a private company. Okay, but vice versa, remember, vice versa is not true. Okay,
so 3 rules will also be applied.
Three rules will automatically you'll have to amend your articles, and 3 rules which are there. Okay, the PNR wala jo rule which is there, those rules are never there in the public company any which way. So in that case, this B Private Limited will have to get converted to a public company, and those 3 rules will not apply. 3 rules which are there earlier only for a private company will not apply to them. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what is the definition of a small company? A very important definition, guys. Small company definition is very, very important. Okay, and majority kids get confused in definition. In fact, on your ICI MCQ booklet, question number 1 is on this definition. Okay, 285, 2 clause 85 के ऊपर definition है. सबसे पहली वाली question number 1. Okay, remember, a small company is a company which has a minimum capital of 50 lakhs. Sorry, which is a maximum capital of 50 lakhs. Means if at all your capital is 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, okay. 5 lakh, okay. 10 lakh, okay. 15 lakh, okay. 20 lakh, okay. 30 lakhs, okay. 35 lakhs, okay. 45 lakhs, okay. 49 lakhs, okay. 50 lakhs, okay. If at all your capital is 50 lakh 100 rupees, 50 lakh 100 rupees, you cannot avail the status of a small company. Okay, your capital has to be max 50 lakhs. Okay, only and only then you have a chance of being called as a small company. You have a chance of being called a small company. But is this the only criteria? No, there are 2 criteria: paid up capital and your previous year turnover should be maximum 2 crores. Your previous year turnover has to be maximum 2 crores. If at all both these criteria are satisfied, okay, your previous year turnover is maximum 2 crores, means 1 crore is okay, 1.5 crore is okay, 1.99 crore is okay, 2 crore is okay. 2 crore 1 rupee not okay. Okay, you have gone, you cannot avail the status of a small company. Now, I'm not explaining this point right now. Hold on, because you'll get confused. This is the current limit. This what I'm marking in red is the current limit. Okay, current limit when it comes to small company for a capital and turnover, simple है 50 पेटी 2 खोखा. याद रखना है, दिमाग में सिंपल फंडा याद रखना है. 50 पेटी 2 खोखा, क्या याद रखना है? स्मॉल कंपनी 2 क्लॉज 85, 50 पेटी 2 खोखा, 50 पेटी 2 खोखा, 50 लाख 2 करोड़. ठीक है. अच्छा, now there are 5 types of companies which will never ever be small company. 5 types of company which will never ever be small company, and institute is going to catch you in this. Okay, institute is going to catch you in this. Understand? The moment, focus करना carefully, सबके attention on the board. The moment you are a public company. Let's suppose A Limited. A Limited is a public company. It will never ever be a small company. Will never ever be a small company. Okay. Even though A Limited satisfies the criteria. Which criteria? 50 peti 2 koka. Let's suppose A Limited has a paid up capital of 40 lakhs. Okay, and the previous year turnover was, let's suppose, 1.5 crore. They are satisfying the criteria. Still, we will never allow them to be a small company because it is a public company. Law has definitely clarified that a public company will never be a small company. Second important point. Let's suppose you have a holding company and you have a subsidiary company. You have a holding company and you have a subsidiary company. In that case, guys, remember, holding the moment this company, let's suppose there is A Limited is holding, focus करना ध्यान से, focus करना. There is a company A Private Limited. Everybody attention on the board. A Private Limited. There is a company B Private Limited. ठीक है? A Private Limited and B Private Limited. So let's look at their criteria. Paid up share capital, previous year turnover. Paid up share capital, previous year turnover. Let's suppose A Limited has a paid up share capital of 40 lakhs and previous year turnover of 1.5 crore. Let's suppose B Private Limited has a paid up share capital of 30 lakhs and previous year turnover of 1 crore. Individually, both of them are satisfying the criteria. Individually, both of them are private companies. Therefore, I can give them individually the definition of small company. I can give them the status of small company. But the moment A Private Limited is investing in B Private Limited, okay, they have invested and now B Private Limited becomes a subsidiary. Let's suppose A is holding 60% voting power. Okay, and B Private Limited becomes a subsidiary company. A Private Limited becomes the holding company. The moment this is satisfied, the moment this criteria is satisfied, now I will start calling A Private Limited the holding company, B Private Limited subsidiary company. The very moment this company becomes holding, this company becomes subsidiary, they will lose the small company status. Okay, so remember, any company on this earth, okay, any company on this earth, as per the Companies Act, if at all you are a holding company, you have a subsidiary company, the moment you satisfy this, the definition of the holding subsidiary, then you cannot avail the status of small company. Okay, next, let's suppose there is a Section 8 company. So let's suppose Being Human Foundation, it is a Section 8 company. Section 8 company can never be a small company. Okay, can never be a small company. Sir, why? Because Section 8 company already has too many exemptions under their radar. ठीक है, therefore तुम्हारे दोनों हाथ में लड्डू नहीं हो सकता. If at all you are a Section 8 company, you cannot get the status of a small company. And last, special act companies. Let's suppose Reserve Bank of India, Air India. Okay, these are special act. They have a special act for them. SBI has a SBI Act. Okay, now these companies are there who are incorporated under special acts. Okay, they will also not be subsidiary. They will also not be. They will never get the definition. They will never get the status of a small company. Okay, so I hope the concept is clear to you all. 5 types of companies will never be small companies. Focus करो, देखो कौन से भाई. Public company will never be small company even if the criteria is satisfied. Subsidiary holding company will never be small company even if the criteria is satisfied. Special act company will never be. Section 8 company will never be small company even if the criteria is satisfied. Okay, now the next point is that, focus karo. This is where kids majorly get confused. Okay, in this 10 crore limit and 100 crore limit, okay, focus karna, these are not the current limit, guys. These are the future limits. If the government wants, they can increase. If the government wants, they can increase the they can increase your these limits up to this 10 crores. They can increase 50 lakhs to 10 crores. They can increase 2 crores to 100 crores if they want in near future. Is that the current limit? No. So in that case, ये दोनों याद मत रखना. Don't remember 10 crore, 100 crore. Just keep it on the back of your mind. Your current limit is 50 peti 2 koka. Are we crystal clear with the definition of small company, guys? Are we crystal clear with the definition of small company? Sure. Okay. Perfect. Very good. Now, this is a small question. You guys can solve it later on. What small question?
Sir,
Yeah. Tell me now.
are there any major amendments in law, sir?
For
May 21.
For May 21, no, there are not many major amendments. Wherever the amendments are there, I'll be covering the amendments. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at the definition of one-person company, guys. We have automatically moved into chapter number 2. By the way, hello. We have automatically moved into chapter number 2. This is chapter number 2, incorporation going on. One person company is a concept in chapter number 2. Section and company is a concept in chapter number 2, incorporation of companies. Okay. Let's suppose if what is a one person company, guys? Section 262. I want to be the sole member in the company. I don't trust anybody. I want to be the individual shareholder. Okay, so in that case, I can incorporate a one person company. The procedure is very simple. You have to follow everything. You have to follow everything which a normal company has to do. But along with that, the sole member has to obtain written consent of the nominee. There is a nominee concept which applies in the one person company. मुझे एक nominee appoint करना पड़ेगा. Why? Because why? I am an individual. अगर if I go away, then who will be the member after me? So that nominee will be the member. Okay. Written consent has to be filed with the ROC during incorporation. When I'm incorporating my one person company, that written consent I have to file it with the ROC. And along with that, the memorandum of association of one person company will indicate the name of the nominee by way of a nomination clause. What is the clause? Nomination clause. After just 5 minutes, you're going to start everything about memorandum and articles. Okay, so in that case, that time I will definitely show you this nomination clause in the memorandum. Okay. Now change in name of nominee. This is very simple. This is not to be required right now. Look at this. Can you see over here? Look at the 8th clause. Look at the 8th. You see, read it this 8th one clearly. Okay, Shri, Srimati, son, daughter, resident of so and so, age so and so, shall be the nominee in the event of death of the sole member. And this is applicable in case of one person company. This is the nomination clause. This is the nomination clause which comes where, guys? This is the nomination clause which comes in the memorandum of association. Okay. Now, there are certain restrictions on membership. Now, I'm telling you one important question which I definitely believe there are very high chances of coming in the paper. Pay attention. The question is going to come in the next 2 minutes. Focus. Okay. First of all, what is the criteria? What is the criteria to incorporate a one person company? First of all, I have to be a natural person. So any company cannot incorporate one person company. Any company cannot incorporate a one person company. I have to be a natural person, natural born person. Only then I can incorporate a one person company. Then who is an Indian citizen? I have to be an Indian citizen and I have to be a resident in India. Now majority kids get confusing is the income tax definition of residential status is not to be applied here. Companies are बहुत simple है boss. Company बोलता है in the previous financial year you were in India for minimum 182 days. In the current financial year I will assume you to be a resident. ठीक है, अगर previous financial year में you were in India for minimum 182 days, so in that case in the current financial year I will assume that we will tell that you are a resident in the country. Okay, so if I have fulfilled all the 3 criteria conditions, I have to be a natural person, Indian citizen, and resident of India, then I can be the sole member in the one person company. I can be the nominee in the one person company. Okay, I shall be eligible to incorporate OPC and I shall be eligible to be a nominee for the sole member of the one person company. Now, in this case, another important point which comes to our head is that how many one person companies can I be sole member? How many one person companies can I be nominee? Okay, simply remember I can be nominee and sole member at the same time only in one OPC. Focus karo. Let's take for example, there is ABC OPC Private Limited. There is one ABC, and the other one is PQR OPC Private Limited. Okay. Now there is sole member. Here is the nominee. There is sole member. Here is nominee. Let's suppose Mr. Ram is the sole member here and Sham is the nominee over here. Now Sham can be the nominee over here. Okay. And in this case, let's assume that Mr. Ram is over here. Okay, this is valid. There is no problem in this. Why? Because if you notice, Ram is acting as the sole member in one person company, and in the other OPC, he is acting as a nominee. Okay, and along with this, let's suppose Sham is acting as a sole member over here, and Sham is acting as a nominee over here. It is completely valid, no problem. Okay, but can this be there? Can this be happening over here? Look at this. Focus karna now. Focus. Can Ram be the sole member over here? And can Sham be the nominee over here? No. You cannot be nominee at the in 2 OPCs at the same time. You cannot be sole member in 2 OPCs at the same time. You have to be only at one position. Okay. Now, suppose karte hain, I'll give you one more case study. Focus karna dhyan se. This question can come in the paper. Sorry. We have Ram here. We have Sham here. Okay, we have Ram over here. Now, let's suppose, guys, focus on very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. Let's suppose that now focus very carefully. Our Mr. Sham dies. Our Mr. Sham died. ठीक है, the moment he dies, the moment the soul member dies, we know what happens. He is no longer available, Shyam is no longer there. Automatically Ram will become the soul member over here. Automatically Ram will become the soul member over here. बराबर है. Now if you notice what has happened, Ram has by default contravened the provisions. Ram has become now by default Ram has become the soul member, okay, here also, and soul member here also by virtue of him succeeding Shyam. over here Ram तो पहले से, यहाँ पे Ram तो पहले से यार सोल मेंबर था, यहाँ पे Ram सोल मेंबर कैसे हो गया? by virtue of him succeeding Shyam. ठीक है, ये जब होता है तो in this case Ram will get a period of 180 days. Remember, not 182 days. Ram is going to get a period of 180 days to decide कि उसको कहाँ पे soul member रहना है. Does he want to continue over here or does he want to continue over here as the soul member? He's going to get 180 days, and basis that the new nominations will be decided. Okay, so for 180 days Ram gets the time. Okay, in your study material the institute has done a blunder. In your study material the institute has simply copy pasted, instead of 180 they have written 182. Remember, it is not 182. 182 is there, 182 number is there, but that number is for the definition of this. That number 182 is for understanding residential status. Okay, 182 is not for, 182 is not here. Here 180 days is there. Okay, so don't do this blunder. The institute has done this blunder in the study material. Okay. Now, can the minor become a member or nominee? No, but nor minor cannot become the member, nor he can become the nominee, nor can the minor hold shares in beneficial interest. No one, just hold on. Okay, guys, one important point. Why is this point being clarified? Because majority cases in majority areas, okay, let's suppose your parents have a bank account, they must have made you as a nominee. You are a minor, they must have made you as a nominee. So by default, somebody is opening a one-person company, he might keep his son as a nominee. Okay, when he's becoming major, he will come in the company. So remember, you cannot appoint nominee, or you cannot appoint a minor as a nominee, nor a minor can be a sole member in the company. Okay, now I've already told you, please post your doubt on the chat box. I'm not entertaining doubts right now. Okay, there are 72 people sitting in the classroom and I can't differentiate in one person. Okay, now look at the next point. There are some restrictions. This is a very important point. Focus karna is a very important point. A one-person company cannot convert itself to a Section 8 company. Okay, you cannot convert itself to a Section 8 company, nor you can carry out NBFC functions. You cannot do what the NBFC does. And second point, you cannot invest in securities of another body corporate. I cannot invest in debentures, shares of any other company. These are the restrictions. And along with that, I cannot voluntarily convert myself to a normal private company. Now this was a precise reason. This was a precise reason why I told you there is a difference between one-person company and normal private company. Okay, if I have incorporated a one-person company today and I want to convert myself, I want to voluntarily convert myself after 6 months into a normal private. I want 2 people now. I was the one person. Now I want 2 members in the company. Not possible. Not possible. Not allowed. Not allowed. I want 7 members in the company. Not allowed. Not allowed. Law says that you incorporate a one-person company, stay as a one-person company for minimum 2 years, and after that go for voluntary conversion. Okay, so the law is pretty clear on this aspect. If the moment this is not a ping pong ball, one-person company tomorrow private, tomorrow one-person company tomorrow normal private company. No, the moment you open a one-person company, तुम्हें होशो हवास पता था कि हम one-person company open कर रहे हैं, 2 साल तक चुपचाप one-person company रहो. तुम one-person company से normal private में voluntarily convert नहीं हो सकते. लेकिन हाँ, तुम नॉर्मल प्राइवेट कंपनी से तुम वन पर्सन कंपनी से नॉर्मल प्राइवेट कंपनी में कन्वर्ट तभी हो सकते हो. यू कैन गेट कन्वर्टेड. मैंडेटरली आपको कन्वर्ट करना पड़ेगा इफ एट ऑल यू बिकम अ वेरी बिग कंपनी. ठीक है, अगर आप बड़े हो जाओगे तो इन दैट केस आपको वन पर्सन कंपनी का स्टेटस नहीं मिलेगा. यू हैव टू कन्वर्ट योरसेल्फ टू नॉर्मल प्राइवेट और पब्लिक एज द केस में, व्हाट एवर यू वांट. ठीक है, व्हाट इज द क्राइटेरिया फॉर दैट? If your paid up capital increases above 50 lakhs, if your paid up capital increase above 50 lakhs, and if your average annual turnover during 3 preceding financial years goes about 2 CR, then you have to definitely you have to make sure that कि भाई आपको mandatorily convert होना पड़ेगा. And the main point over is this or. Okay, out of these two, any one condition gets satisfied. Because any one condition gets satisfied, you have to definitely convert yourself to a normal private or a public company. Okay, what is the criteria? The criteria is that if your capital goes above 50 lakhs and if your average annual turnover in the preceding 3 financial years goes about 2 CR, in that case you have to mandatorily convert yourself to a normal private or a public company. Okay, and if at all this criteria is not getting satisfied, Chup-chap for 2 years, stay as a one-person company. After that, you can voluntarily convert. This is mandatory conversion. That was voluntary conversion. Okay. And the institute has asked question on this point. At this point, the NBFC function. There's a question on this NBFC वाले point पे institute ने question एक बार पूछा हुआ. ठीक है. Now, look at the next section. This is the last type of company, guys. This is the last type of company. After that, we will see the incorporation bit. Okay, Section 8 company. Understand, in the case of non-profit company, it is a non-for-profit company, not for-profit company. In this case, can I just tomorrow open a one Section 8 company? No. You have to go to the central government. You have to go to the central government. They have delegated their powers to the regional director. You have to go to the central government. Tell them, central government, I want to open a Section 8 company. Give me license. Give me license. Okay. Now, the central government company will give you license only when it is satisfied. Three things. First, your object is going to be to promoting these things. You will promote these things. That is going to be your object of the company. Second, your profit, whatever you earn, will again go back. Let's suppose I'm running a school. I'm promoting education. I've opened a Section 8 company. Okay, so in that case, when I open the school, it is quite obvious I'm going to get fees from students, and there will be expenses. I will have to pay the teacher, but some amount of profit will be left off. Can I just purify that profit? No. I will use that profit again in the promotion of the objects. Okay, see, profit if any, it is not compulsory. I might get profit also. If at all I earn bit of profit, then it will be used in the promotion of these objects only. And last, I will not give dividend to any member. I will not give. Let's take, for example, a simple example of Being Human Foundation. Okay, let's suppose, guys, Shah Rukh Khan, there are three Khans in the industry: Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, and Amir Khan. Okay, all the three have invested in Being Human Foundation. Okay, now let's suppose Shah Rukh Khan is telling Being Human Foundation, my movies are not running, please give me some dividend. Being Human Foundation cannot give any dividend to Shah Rukh Khan. If Shah Rukh Khan wanted dividend, he should have invested in a profit-making company like Reliance. Okay, he should have invested in profit-making companies. By उसमें invest करो, वो आपको dividend देंगे. Not-for-profit company will never ever give you dividend. Okay, those are the three conditions. Now, what if you do not follow these conditions? Okay, requirement or condition. What if you do not follow these conditions? What if the Being Human Foundation, that organization, is doing activities in the fraudulent manner? I have opened my school. I am doing activities in the fraudulent manner. I have violated my objects. I told that I will be doing this promotion, but I'm violating my objects. I'm doing something else only, and I'm doing business which is harmful to the public. I'm doing business which is prejudicial to the interest of the public. Prejudicial means harmful. If I'm doing business which is prejudicial to the interest of the public, in that case, will the central government directly cut my ties off? No. The central government will simply issue a notice. Central government will issue me a written notice. Okay, they will send a written notice to me, and they will tell me that listen, Being Human Foundation, my intention is to revoke your license. I am giving you an opportunity of being heard. You better come in front of me and explain why your license should not be revoked. Okay. Now, in that case, if at all I am able to explain them that, sir, no, all these are rumors. I have been doing work properly. Okay, I am able to prove it to them. I am safe. But if I'm not able to prove to them, then in that case, my license will be definitely revoked. License will definitely revoked. I will be punished. And what will happen is that once the license is revoked, the central government can order any of these three. Central government will tell me, beta, now convert yourself. You will no longer be a Section 8 company. You cannot enjoy the exemptions of Section 8 company. Convert yourself to a normal private or a public company. Or they might tell me, wind up, shut down your business. Whatever surplus is there, sell off your assets, pay off your liabilities. Whatever surplus is left off, you transfer it to a similar Section 8 company who's doing your same objects, or you transfer it to the insolvency bankruptcy fund. Okay, this is a fund which is government created fund. Okay, and the last point will be amalgamate with another similar company. The concept is very simple, guys. Whenever you want to, let's suppose you are asking permission, from your parents to go to Goa, your parents will tell you that if at all this particular friend is going, only then you can go. Similar point, if you are not doing business properly, you go and amalgamate with some other business, some other similar company. You guys they will make sure that they are taking care of you. Okay, so the last point will be license will be revoked. You go and amalgamate yourself with another similar company. So any of these three, the central government can tell you to do, and this is the penalty which you can read. Okay. Now, along with this, guys, there are 2-3 points which you need to remember. A firm can become a member in Section 8 company. Section 8 company can call. This is something that we'll be learning in Section 101 in Management Administration about the notice. I'm not working it right now. And secondly, this is okay. And post receipt of license. Okay, the words limited or private limited is not required. So therefore, I was consistently saying being human foundation. In this case, it is you are not required to use the word private limited or public limited at the end. Okay, but yes, if you're a profit making company, then in that, if you're a profit making company, you have to definitely make sure that you are using the words limited or private limited after this. Okay, I hope the section 8 company definition also crystal clear to you all. Okay, this table we have already done completely. We have done, I had already made you solve this table. Okay, minimum number of members in the case of private companies 2, public companies 7, and 1% company is 1. Okay, important section 3A. Mark this section as very important in your notes. Please mark this section as very important, section 3A. Okay, what does this section say? Okay, we know that the minimum number of members in the company, in the private companies 2 and public companies minimum 7. So let's suppose what happens if at all is the minimum number of members reduced below the statutory minimum? No, I have never reduced my members below statutory minimum limit. What is the statutory minimum limit in the case of public 7, private 2? Okay, I have never reduced it, so there will be no further action. Don't worry, just go on with your life. But if at all, yes, my number of members is reduced below 7. Example, it's a public company. My number of members is reduced below 7. Let's suppose there were 7 members. Now there are 5 members. Okay, there are only 5 members. So in that case, company will get 6 months time to increase the number again to 7. Okay, see, company has increased the number within 6 months period. No further action. Don't worry, just go on with your life. Okay, but if at all for a period of 6 months, you did not do anything, you don't give a damn about the law. Okay, आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो, you're not doing anything, the company is carrying on business with such reduced number of members for more than 6 months, so it is a clear disregard to the law. Then in that case, every person who is a member of the company, you remember those balance 5 people, every person who is a member of the company during these 6 and 6+ months and knows that the company is carrying on business with less than these people, so those 5 people who know, out of those 5 people, either everybody would be knowing or 4 people will be knowing. Okay, the people who know that, oh my god, my company is doing business with less number of members, so in that case, whatever debts are being contracted, let's suppose this is your 6 months period, after 6 months, whatever debt is getting contracted by the company, that debt will be that on that debt, okay, if you notice here, shall be severally liable. Those balance 5 members will be severally means individually liable for payment of whole debts of the company contracted after 6 months, and maybe individually sued. Therefore means your liability will be on that additional debt. If the company is unable to pay, you will be caught. You have to pay those debt because you contravened the law. You knew that the company is doing business with less number of members, but you did not do anything. You still continued. So those 5 people. But remember one important catch over here. The debt that is contracted in this period, only the company is liable. This period debt, the company is liable. But any debt contracted after this 6 months, then in that case, those balance 5 member will also be liable. That is your section 3A. Now, when I'm incorporating a company, what is the procedure to incorporate a company? Very simple procedure. I have to first do name reservation. Let's look at the name reservation criteria. Okay, there is a taxman question. There's a question on taxman in your text, in your study material. There's a question on taxman in your study material. Please make sure you solve that question very well. First, let's look at the name reservation. I have to first go and reserve the name. Sir, what is the reason? What is the reason for reserving the name? Because guys, one company in the country can have only one name. Okay, if at all there are 2 companies with similar name, let's take for example, there is a company Reliance Industries Limited, and there is another company Reliance Industries Limited. In this case, don't you think so? Let's suppose the officer is making a notice. Will he not be confused? I have to send it to this Reliance or I have to send it to this Reliance. They will be very confused. Therefore, remember, in the country, if at all you're incorporating company, your name will be definitely unique. Your name will not go to another company. Okay. Now, that is the main reason why we do name reservation. Okay. Now, how do you do the name reservation, guys? You have to go to the ROC and reserve your name. You have to file the application. In that case, you have to make sure that you're not using words like these. Okay, you're not using words like national, undertaking, authority, commission, national, federal, central, union, anything that denotes your connection with government. You cannot use those words. You need to have a previous approval of the central government. And if at all you are just a fraudulent company using these names, the central government is not going to give you the approval. Okay, so you cannot use these names. So tomorrow I cannot set a company with the name of Sugar Authority of India. Okay, why? Because it denotes my connection to government. Unless and until I have central government approval, I cannot start a company with this name. Now, along with this, let's suppose I want to use the name like use the name like Aakash Bank of India. Aakash Bank of India. I cannot use the word bank. If I have to use the word bank, I have to get the RBI approval. I cannot start a company named like Aakash Insurance Limited. I cannot use this. If I'm using the word insurance, I have to make sure that I get the approval of IRDA. Okay. So whenever you make an application, in that application, if you want to incorporate a company with such names, okay, then you need the sectoral regulator ka approval. Okay, if you don't have the sectoral regulator ka approval, you will not get the name reservation. Okay. Now, once the names are done, once I have applied, my application is done, ROC will check them, and these names should not be undesirable offense. गाली वाली नहीं होना चाहिए. Harami Limited, ठीक है, अरे कामचोर Limited, ऐसे ना, these names are not allowed. ठीक है, they will not give you the approval. Okay, you have to make sure that these are not undesirable names. Terrorist activities limited, not allowed. ठीक है, undesirable names are not allowed. ठीक है. ROC will check all the documents. If they are found in order, then ROC will reserve your name. In the case of new company, the ROC will reserve your name for 20 days. If you're giving an application for name change, they will reserve your name for a period of 60 days. Now, if at all the ROC finds that you are saying something false. Okay, if at all you have furnished some wrong information, I'll give you a simple example. Guys, whenever I'm going, let's suppose A and B, we both are going to the company, we both are going to the ROC, and when we are going to the ROC, we are telling the ROC, please incorporate my company name by name of Ram Private Limited. Okay, ROC is going to ask me why the reason Ram. Okay, I told them that Ram is my son's name. Ram is the name of my son. ठीक है, तो in this case, remember, I am giving some false information. मेरी शादी नहीं हुई, बच्चे होने का कहाँ सवाल उठता है? ठीक है, शादी नहीं हुई, बच्चे होने का कहाँ सवाल उठता है? तो in that case, if when ROC comes to know, after reserving my name as Ram Private Limited, ROC found out that the name was applied by furnishing wrong or incorrect information. Tell me, guys, did I furnish wrong or incorrect information or not? I have furnished wrong or incorrect information. I have told them false information about my son. I have told them that I have a son named Ram, and therefore you want the name as Ram Private Limited. In that case, if the ROC comes to know that I was lying before incorporation, after reservation but company incorporation, after reserving the name but before company getting incorporated, so in that case they will cancel the reserve name, and plus they will fine me 1 lakh rupees. I made the application, I have to pay a fine of 1 lakh rupees for doing the time pass. Okay, for saying lies, I have to pay 1 lakh rupees. And if at all after incorporation, ROC comes to know that I lied in the name reservation application, I was just saying anything. So in that case, what they will the ROC will direct me, either direct the company to change its name within a period of 3 months after passing an ordinary resolution. They will take action for striking of the name of the company from the register, or will make a petition for winding up. Now, majority kids get confused. What is the difference in these two? Understand, guys. The second case is a shortcut. Your name will be when you come in the CA final level. That time will be taught that boss key. Whenever you're striking off the name, understand very carefully. Striking off the name is an easier process. Making a petition for winding up the NCLT is a long drawn process. Okay, if at all you have assets to be sold off, you have liabilities to be paid off, in that case you will go through the winding up process. But if at all there is not much hassle, you're not an active company, so in that case the ROC, if it wants, it can directly strike off your name from the register. Okay, so remember, the only difference between these two is a shortcut and a long cut. What is the actual difference, you will come to know in the CA final level, because there is a separate chapter on this. Okay, in this case, when the ROC comes to know about that you lied, this is the consequences that you will have to face. Okay, you will have to pay 1 lakh rupees of fine, and over here you will have to directly change the name. They will tell you change the name or company बंद करो, तुमने भाई बहुत बड़ा झूठ बोल दिया. Now, what are the documents that I'm supposed to file during incorporation? And remember, this is important. I have to maintain these documents till the company dissolution. Remember, guys, company is formed by law, it will die by law. Okay, company is something that that is formed by the process of law, it will die also by process of law. And all these documents that I have to file with the ROC, I have to maintain them till the date of dissolution. The first document I have to maintain is the memorandum and articles. I have to give them address for correspondence till the registered office is established. I have to tell the ROC, listen, I know I'm giving these documents to you. So remember, first step, guys, we saw the first step, that is name reservation. The first step, guys, is name reservation. Once the name is reserved, now Ram Private Limited reserved for me. It is reserved for me for a period of 20 days. Now, in these 20 days, I have to give all these balance documents to the ROC. Now, for you, currently, I'm telling you from a practical standpoint, that 20-day period can be extended. Okay, there is a condonation of delay that you can file and you can extend the 20-day period, but that is something that happens practically. Okay, that is not given in your study material. I'm telling you, when I've incorporated companies, I have asked for condonation of delay, and the ROC gives you the condonation of delay. So don't worry. Now, in those 20 days, I have to make sure that all these documents reach the ROC. What are these documents, guys? First document, articles and memorandum. Second is declaration that all requirements of the Companies Act 2013 are complied with. अब मुझे एक declaration देना पड़ेगा कि मैम ने Companies Act के सारे compliances का पालन किया, हमने कहीं पे भी कुछ छोड़ा नहीं है, हमने Companies Act की सारी चीजों का पालन किया हुआ है. ठीक है, ये declaration किस किस को देनी पड़ेगी भैया? ये declaration देनी पड़ेगी persons engaged in formation of the company. Today, guys, let's take for example, there's a person, Mr. Let's suppose Mukesh Ambani. Mukesh Ambani wants to open a company. Do you really think so? Mukesh Ambani knows the Companies Act. Does he know how to incorporate a company? No. He is going to go to a chartered accountant or he will go to a company secretary. Okay, and he will ask them that, guys, please help me to incorporate a company. Okay, so in that case, these are the person who are engaged in the formation of the company. Okay, these are the consultants whom I'm going to engage. Like you guys are becoming chartered accountants. The way my clients engage me for incorporating companies, once you become a chartered accountant, the clients are going to engage you, that they are going to tell you that please help me in incorporating a company. Now, when you are helping the client in incorporating company, that time you have to give this declaration that all requirements of companies that are complied with. And along with that, the persons who are named in the articles as director, manager, secretary, these guys also have to give the declaration that there is no non-compliance of Companies Act. We have complied with every goddamn thing that is required for incorporating a company. Along with this, there is another declaration which is to be given. One more declaration is to be given that we are not convicted of any offense. We have not found guilty of fraud in the last 5 years, and all जो भी कहूंगा सच के सिवा कुछ भी नहीं कहूंगा. All documents containing information is correct. ठीक है, ये किसको देना पड़ेगा, guys? This declaration is to be given by all subscribers to the MOA. All subscribers to the MOA means what? The promoters, the people who are starting the company, the starting 2 members, starting 7 members for starting the company, they have to give the declaration. Along with that, first directors that are mentioned in the articles, they also have to give this declaration. There is a section in the Companies Act 152. 152 says that when it is not specified, all subscribers to the memorandum, they will become first directors. So if let's suppose I have 2 friends. Okay, I have 2 friends. One is Shrikant and one is Karan. Okay, both of them. This guy is going to hold 50% of the shares. Karan is going to hold 50% of the shares. Now, if we want, they can make me as the director. They can make a third person as the director. But if at all they are not making any person as a director, Shrikant and Karan, they both will be the first members. They both will be the first directors. Automatically, वही लोग director बन जाएंगे. ठीक है? तो in that case, इनको ही ये declaration देना पड़ेगा. क्या कि भाई, we were not found guilty of fraud. हम जो कह रहे हैं सच कह रहे हैं, सच के सिवा और कुछ नहीं कह रहे हैं. And last point, guys, ROC को मुझे और information देनी पड़ेगी about every subscriber to the memorandum, their name, address, nationality, and I have to tell them that about the information about the first directors. ये दिन क्या है? दिन is the director identification number. Director identification number, it is something that you have to give. Name, address, nationality, their interest in other forms of body corporate, and their consent to act as director. That is something I have to give to the ROC. Once ROC gets all these data, first they got my data for name reservation. The name is reserved. All the other documents, these are the stamp duty documents, fee documents, everything I've given to the ROC. Now, once I've given all this data to the ROC will scrutinize all these documents. And once the scrutiny is done, after that, the ROC will issue a certificate of incorporation to me. They will give me a certificate of incorporation. Now, if at all I have lied again, okay, consequences of false information being furnished at the time of incorporation. If if I have filed some false information, so in that case, and the ROC comes to know before getting incorporated, before the company gets incorporated, every person who furnished wrong or false information will be liable for penalty under fraud. ठीक है, 447 की आपकी पेनल्टी लग जाएगी. ये फ्रॉड की पेनल्टी क्या होती है मैं अभी कवर करा देता हूँ आप लोग सबके लिए. ठीक है, बिकॉज मेजॉरिटी टाइम्स बच्चे पीपल गेट कंफ्यूज्ड इन दिस फ्रॉड का पेनल्टी. लेट मी कवर दैट फ्रॉड का पेनल्टी राइट अवे. विल कम बैक टू दिस पॉइंट इन अ मिनट. focus करना what is the fraud का penalty, because this fraud का penalty is going to come 10 times, so it's better that we cover it right away. Okay, look on the board. What is the penalty for fraud? एकदम simple funda है. ध्यान सुनना, majority guys get confused in this penalty. I am calling this row. I am calling this row as the first row. This is the first row. This is the second row, and this is the third row. Listen to me very carefully. After 5 minutes, 447 as a penalty will never 447 as a penalty will never trouble you. Okay, this penalty troubles you because of the language barrier. Okay, understand carefully. I am giving you a simple formula for 447. Listen to me. You have to do one simple thing. You have to find the value of x. Now, what is the value of x? 10 lakhs or 1% of turnover, whichever is less. That is x. Okay. Now, let's take, for example, guys. Let's take, for example, case 1. My turnover is 12 crore. My previous year turnover is 12 crore. In that case, what will be the value of x? X will be 10 lakhs or 12 lakhs, whichever is less. How did this value come of 12 lakhs? 12 lakhs is 1% of 12 crores. Okay. So remember, this is the simple formula. You need to find the value of x. Okay, what is x? X ka formula is 10 lakhs or 1% turnover, whichever is less. Now, if my turnover is 12 crores, if my turnover is 12 crores, my value of x will be 10 lakhs. How 10 lakhs? 10 lakhs or 12 lakhs, whichever is less. बराबर ना? तो whatever is less is 10 lakhs. बराबर है guys? ठीक है. ये 12 लाख कैसे आया? 12 लाख ऐसे आया. 1% of the turnover. ठीक है. Now you have to compare. What is the fraud amount in the company? If the fraud that has happened, if the fraud amount is less than x, then penalty given in first row will apply. If the fraud amount is more than equal to x and there is no public interest involved, मतलब आपने जनहित में चूना नहीं लगाया लोगों को, ठीक है, जनहित में लोगों को चूना नहीं लगाया, no public interest involved, ठीक है, then penalty given in the second row will apply. And if at all guys public interest in is involved, आपका fraud amount is more than or equal to x and along with this आपने जनहित में लोगों को चूना लगाया, ठीक है, तो in that case the घनघोर penalty given in third row will apply. Got it? I'll give you one more example. Let's look at case number 2. Let's take for case number 2. Listen, the question is such. The question is that fraud amount. You might get a practical question on this. Fraud amount is 6 lakh rupees. They will ask you, write the penalty under 447. Fraud amount is 6 lakh rupees. Previous year turnover is 5 crore. Now, what I told you, simple formula, find the value of x. X is 10 lakhs or 1% of turnover. That is 10 lakhs or 5 lakh, whichever is less. Your x comes as 5 lakhs. Now, simply identify where exactly you are falling. Is your fraud amount less than x? No, my fraud amount is 6 lakhs. Now, in this case, understand, let's suppose public interest is not involved. So definitely what will happen is fraud amount is more than equal to x. बराबर fraud amount कितना था मेरा 6 lakh का था ना, and 6 lakhs is more than 5 lakhs. Therefore, I'm falling here, and over here I simply told you public interest not involved. Therefore, you'll go in the second row, and my penalty amount will be this. My penalty will be minimum fine is equal to the amount of fraud, and maximum fine will be 3 times the amount of fraud, and minimum 6 months jail, maximum 10 years jail. Okay. Guys, are we crystal clear with how you're supposed to find the penalty, which row applicability? Is there is this concept clear? This is a very new technique, new way of solving the answer. Now, next point, what is the penalty actually? See, if at all I'm falling in the first row, my fine will be up to 50 lakh rupees and or jail up to 5 years. Now, remember the second row and the third row is exactly identical. There is no difference in the second row and third row with only one exception. The simple exception being that here it is minimum 6 months, here it is minimum 3 years. Okay, that is the only difference. The rest, everything is same. Minimum fine will be equal to amount of fraud and maximum will be 3 times the amount of fraud. Now minimum 6 years and minimum 3 years. Okay, this is your simple fraud ka penalty. If at all you guys want, you can take a screenshot of this. I'm waiting for 2 seconds. Take a screenshot of this formula if you want. Okay, the formula is a very robust formula. Till that time, let me just check if at all there are any questions. Naman, can you please elaborate your RAM wala question thoda in detail? I did not understand from your words. Sir, please, Payal beta, which screen do you want? Just show me just tell me which screen do you want. Just tell me the name of the slide. Jamil, you'll have to make sure that when you apply to the ROC, they will themselves tell you whether that is allowed or not allowed. ठीक है? पानी नहीं मनोज, पानी नहीं, ठीक है? पानी मैं पीऊंगा, ठीक है? अभी तुम बोल रहे हो तो चलो पी लेता हूँ पानी, ठीक है?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Tell me. No.
So वो फर्स्ट केस में था जैसे राम सोल मेंबर था एक ओपीसी का और श्याम दूसरे, और दोनों अपोजिट में नॉमिनी थे, तो उसमें अगर एक नॉमिनी मर रहा है तो फिर वो भी 180 डेज।
नहीं बेटा, देखो इन दिस केस ये बोल रहे हो ना आप यहाँ पे, अभी ये श्याम मर गया ना, और श्याम यहाँ से भी नॉमिनी चला जाएगा, दैट इज द पॉइंट ना। तो इन दैट केस राम यहाँ आ जाएगा, बराबर है? तो इन दैट केस राम दोनों जगह पे आ गया, तो नाउ राम विल डिसाइड उसको क्या करना, राम को क्या करना है, राम को यहाँ रहना है कि राम को यहाँ रहना है। अगर राम बोलता है मेरे को यहाँ रहने का है, तो इन दैट केस वो यहाँ पे अपॉइंट कर देगा, ठीक है? और वो जब निकलेगा, राम जब यहाँ पे सोल मेंबर है ना, तो ही विल अपॉइंट द नॉमिनी एंड ही विल लीव। ओके, तो दैट नॉमिनी विल बिकम द सोल मेंबर एंड दैट सोल मेंबर विल अपॉइंट द नॉमिनी।
अच्छा, ठीक है, थैंक यू।
ठीक है, एंड द लॉजिक बिहाइंड सेकंड, मुस्कान बेटा सिंपल, जनहित में पब्लिक को चुना लगाया, पब्लिक को चुना लगाओगे तो ज्यादा फ्री खाना मिलेगा ना। पब्लिक को चुना लगाया तो इसलिए 3 साल का जेल है, ठीक है? यहाँ पे पब्लिक को चुना नहीं लगाया, इसलिए कम जेल है वैसे, ठीक है? गॉट इट? तो दैट इज द रीजन भाई, यहाँ पे 6 months एंड 3 years क्यों है बच्चों? द रीजन बीइंग दैट कि यहाँ पे मैं पब्लिक को चुना नहीं लगा रहा हूँ, यहाँ मैंने पब्लिक को चुना लगाया है, ठीक है? तो इन के मुझे ज्यादा फ्री खाना मिलेगा जेल में, लेकिन यहाँ पे 6 महीने का, ठीक है? ओके बेटा, चलो बहुत बढ़िया। ओके, नहीं, नॉन रेजिडेंट नहीं हो सकता। लिसन टू मी वेरी वन concept very carefully. In your ICA MCQ booklet, I think so there is one question where the institute has done a blunder. There is one question where the institute has done a blunder. So अगर आपका कोई पॉइंट गलत जाता है ना, तो डोंट टेंशन मत लेना। There is one question जहाँ पे in the integrated case study जहाँ पे इंस्टीट्यूट ने गलती की है, and I'll tell you the mistake. The mistake is that कि in the MCQ booklet they have said that ऐसा ही है that non resident को उन्होंने ये बनाया है, क्या बोलते हैं, नॉमिनी बनाया है। आई थिंक सो दैट इज द मिस्टेक दैट दे हैव डन, ठीक है? बट डोंट वरी, ओनली अ रेजिडेंट कैन बी अ नॉमिनी, ठीक है? Yes, Priyanka, absolutely right. Listen to me, guys. If you remember in section 3A, only the members who are well aware of that the company is working with less number of members, they will be severally liable. ठीक है बेटा? The ones who are not aware of, they will not be liable. But you'll have to prove it. Priyanka, you'll have to prove it that I was not aware of. Boss, I was in the Bahamas to enjoy my honeymoon. I was not aware of. You have to explain that. ठीक है? If you're able to prove it, you're safe. ठीक है बच्चों? ओके, चलिए बच्चों आगे बढ़ते हैं, अगला पॉइंट। ओके, हाँ ये देख लो भाई, if at all after incorporation, guys, if the ROC comes to know, if after incorporation ROC comes to know, and listen to me very carefully, ROC has kept I mean the central government has kept AOs are adjudicating officers. These adjudicating officers come to know that after incorporation, they come to know that you incorporate a company with fraudulent documents. Then again, all these people will go under 447 का penalty. I just explained to the fraud का penalty. Okay, and if at all the punishment, if at all somebody makes an application to the NCLT, that this company is incorporated with fraudulent documents, so NCLT will give this punishment after providing opportunity of being heard and after taking into consideration all transactions. NCLT might do any of these 5. Okay, they might pass an order as they deem fit. They might say that now the liability of members will be unlimited. Boss, you are not a limited company anymore. Your liability of the members is unlimited. तुम्हारे घर के बर्तन बांडी सब कुछ बेच के लेके आओ, ठीक है? They will tell you that by remove the name from the register. They will say winding up. I told you 5 minutes before. Okay, removal of the name from the register is a simple procedure. Winding up is a long cut procedure. And they will tell you, भैया change your MOA AOA, you're not अब तुम्हारा नाम वाम चेंज करो, ये नाम बराबर नहीं, ठीक है? Any of these 5 the NCLT can tell you. Now, what happens after incorporation? This is pretty simple. Okay, you get perpetual success, perpetual existence. The company is formed by law, will die by law. ठीक है, the company gets a separate legal existence, the company can hold property in its name, the company can file a case against somebody else, and somebody can file a case, anybody can file a case against the company. So that's the reason we see now ABC Limited filing a case against Mr. X, Mr. X filing a case Mr. Against ABC Limited. So remember, okay, company is a separate person in the eyes of law. You can file a case against somebody else, somebody can file a case against you. Now let's go to the next important point, that is memorandum of association. Guys, MOA का concept आ चुका है, फोकस करना ध्यान से. this is the section referencing that I've made for you carefully. सबकी नजरें on the board. The chapter number 2 is a very bhul-bhulaiya section, therefore this section referencing is very very important. Okay, you have your name. Section number 4 talks about your memorandum of association. Okay, it tells you about all the clauses that are there in the memorandum. What are we going to call memorandum? For us, memorandum is the, for us guys, memorandum is the Janam Patri. What is memorandum for us? It is a Janam Patri. It gives you all the data about the company. Okay, it gives you everything about the company in the memorandum. Okay, and I already told you what is the meaning of, what is the other name for articles? It is internal rules. Okay. Now, always understand, guys, if you want to alter the memorandum, focus करना. Now, when it comes to the name clause, okay, if you want to alter the name clause, you have to go to section number 13. But along with that, when you have to rectify the name, section number 16 applies. And this is that section which talks about that taxman question. Okay, which I have a very good feeling might come in the paper on taxman wala question. Okay. Now, registered office clause, if you want to alter it, go to section number 13. But you have to also read section number 12 along with it. Now, when it comes to capital clause, you're not supposed to go to section number 13. Section number 13 does not apply. Section number 13 does not apply to alteration of capital clause. Section number 61 that we'll be reading in chapter number 4, that applies to your capital clause. Okay. Now, for object clause, you get your section number 13 only. And we will also be seeing about these doctrine of ultra-virus, constructive notice, inter-management, not that relevant from an exam perspective at the inter-level, more relevant at your foundation level. Okay, when it comes to liability clause, again, section number 13 will apply, but this section number 65, which applies to that, is not there for your syllabus. Institute ने निकाल दी. ये सारे लोग अंदर बाहर कर रहे हैं यार. Okay, focus करना carefully. ठीक है. Now, we are completing everything which is there about the name clause right now. Focus करना. We have already seen all these things. ये सब हमने पढ़ लिया है. ठीक है. I'm not reading it once again. ठीक है. When you want to alter your name, focus करना. When you want to alter your name, ठीक है. In that case, special resolution has to be passed in general meeting. Prior central government approval is required. New certificate of incorporation will be issued, and central government approval is not applicable. You don't need to go to the central government. You don't need to go and ask the central government when your company class is getting converted, not your name. Sir, what do you mean by company class conversion and not name change? Listen to me very carefully. Guys, let's suppose ABC Private Limited. ABC Private Limited is a private company. It is getting converted itself to a public company. Now the company is going to be ABC Limited. Now in this case, guys, what is happening? The company class is getting converted from a private company. I am moving to a public company. Okay, my name is still the same. Therefore, I don't need to go and ask the central government. Beta, I don't need to go and ask. Okay. Central government approval is not applicable when only the word private is added or deleted on company class conversion. Iska vice versa is also true. Remember, in the case of ABC Limited, if ABC Limited is getting converted, ध्यान सुनना carefully. If ABC Limited is getting converted to ABC Private Limited, ठीक है, तो in this case, I don't need to go and ask approval for name. I have to go and ask approval. Whether I can change my status. उसके लिए मुझे जाने के approval पूछना पड़ेगा. But name change के लिए मुझे central government को पूछने की जरूरत नहीं है. आने वाला है वो आगे हम लोग देखेंगे. I have made a table for both of that parts. Now, for rectification, guys, you have to see section number 16. Now understand what do you mean by section number 16? If at all, मुझे बताओ गलती से mistake तो यार इंसान से भी हो जाती है, आरओसी तो फिर भी आदमी है, ठीक है, गवर्नमेंट से भी इंसान, आरओसी से भी मिस्टेक हो सकती है, ठीक है. तो इन दैट केस बच्चों क्या हुआ, ठीक है, मैं आरओसी के पास गया, मैंने आरओसी को बोला कि आरओसी, I want to incorporate my company with the name of, let's suppose, Industrial Reliance Limited. मुझे ओपन करनी है कंपनी का नाम इंडस्ट्रियल रिलायंस लिमिटेड, ठीक है. मुझे बताओ आइडेंटिकल है कि नहीं, रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज से आइडेंटिकल है कि नहीं, जल्दी बताओ, चैट बॉक्स में बताया जाए, चैट बॉक्स में बताओ आइडेंटिकल है कि नहीं बच्चों, ठीक है भाई. इतना आइडेंटिकल नाम है, रिलायंस इंडस्ट्री लिमिटेड से आइडेंटिकल नाम है, बराबर ना. जब रिलायंस इंडस्ट्री लिमिटेड आइडेंटिकल नाम है बच्चों, तो इन दैट केस मुझे अप्रूवल मिलना ही नहीं चाहिए था. आई शुड हैव नेवर रिसीव्ड द अप्रूवल इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस, बट गलती से आई गॉट द अप्रूवल. The moment I get the approval, guys, the moment I get the approval, okay, after that, now understand, if central government believes that yes, Industrial Reliance Limited and Reliance Industries Limited both are very identical, so in that case, direct order, central government will pass an order. Central government will direct the company to change my name. Central government बोलेगा चलो change करो, नाम change करो, and I can't do anything. I will have to change my name. Company has only 3 months to comply with the central government directions by passing an ordinary resolution. I have to pass an ordinary resolution and change my name. I have to also inform the ROC about this, and then the ROC will issue me a new certificate in corporation. Okay. Remember very carefully, this is section number 16. Now, in this case, यहाँ पे the central government on its own understood that these two are identical. But what if, do you really think the central government will have the time? No. Central government is not going to have the time. Now, in that case, somebody will have to remind them. Who will remind them? As per the registered proprietor of trademark. Let's take, for example, Mukesh Ambani is the registered proprietor of the trademark Reliance Industries Limited. He is the trademark owner. Means nobody can use that name apart from Mukesh Ambani. Okay, now what will Mukesh Ambani do? Mukesh Ambani ji will go to the central government. See, as the registered trademark owner, he believes that the name resembles. Now, Mukesh Ambani ji was a registered trademark owner. He will go to central government, but he will have to go to the central government within a period of 3 years of incorporation or name change by the company. So what do you mean by this, guys? The new company, Industrial Reliance Limited, okay, that got incorporated on 1st June 21. Now, in that case, Mukesh Ambani will have to go to central government up to 31st of December 23. He has 3 years to go to central government. Okay. Now, let's suppose if he goes within time, if he goes within time, then in that case, you have to check whether central government is also of the same opinion. Central government is also of the opinion that the central government believes that the name does not match. Central government बोलती है मुकेश अंबानी चलो पागल बने हो गया. रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज, इंडस्ट्रियल रिलायंस, कितना जमीन आसमान का फर्क है भाई. दोनों नाम अलग अलग है रे, तू घर पे जाके सो जा. ठीक है, तो इन दैट केस central government will take no action. But if the central government says yes, Mukesh Ambani, whatever you say is right. What happens in the country? Mukesh Ambani ji, whatever you say is absolutely right. Okay. Yes, you believe now. You believe Industrial Reliance Limited is identical with Reliance Industries. Let me do the work. आप जाओ, हम लोग करेंगे. Now see, then central government believes. If central government believes that the name matches the trademark, then central government will direct the company to change the name. Okay, but over here, remember, company has now 6 months. If you remember when we were doing the previous page, guys, over there, the central government, when it came to you directly, you had 3 months. But when central government came to you via Mukesh Ambani, you have 6 months to comply with the order and pass an order resolution. And simply you have to tell the ROC, and ROC will give you a new certificate. Okay. That is your simple funda about section number 60. Okay. I hope the concept is crystal clear to you all. This is that one question of taxman limit. Please make sure you solve this question. It is there in your study material. A very important question from an exam perspective. Okay. Why there are very few sections. Okay. Next point. Next, look at the register office clause. Register office clause. अच्छा, कौन से clause होते हैं एक बार बता देता हूँ मैं तुम लोगों को. Let's look at the memorandum once. Look at the memorandum, guys. This is how the memorandum looks like. We are through with the first clause. We just saw everything about the name clause. Second, we are seeing about the registered office clause. Third, we'll be seeing about the object clause, why your company is incorporated. Fourth, we'll be seeing that the liability clause, liability of the member is limited or unlimited. Fifth is going to be the capital clause. Sixth is going to be the subscription clause, also known as the association clause. Subscription clause and also known as the association clause. Okay. Now, over here, or everybody who is there, they will come and they will sign. Or everybody who is there, they will come and they will sign. They will say that yes, I want to be the member. Yes, I want to be the member. Okay. And the seventh clause is also the subscription clause. But this clause, if you notice, there is only one row, guys. One row. There is one row. Means this is for one person company. See, look at this. If you notice the difference also, I, whose name and address is given below, I am desirous of forming a company in pursuance of this MOA and to take all the shares. I am the sole member. Okay, in the capital of the company. This clause is applicable in the case of one person company. So remember, this is also the subscription clause. This is also the subscription clause. The sixth one is also subscription, but it will depend. अगर आपकी प्राइवेट कंपनी है तो 2 रो डाल देना, अगर पब्लिक कंपनी है तो 7 रो डाल देना, 7 रोज डाल दो, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, ठीक है. Nomination clause I've already explained to you, that also applies in the case of 1% company. Okay, now let's look at the funda about your registered office clause, guys. Registered office clause, yes, look at this point. Everybody's attention on the board. A question can be expected from this point as well. Focus करना सबकी नजरें बोर्ड पे, ठीक है. अगर let's take for example, I am currently living in the city of Mumbai. State of Mumbai क्या बोल रहा हूँ? I am currently living in the city of Mumbai. ठीक है, मुंबई में my registered office, let's take for example, is in a very posh locality, Nariman Point. My registered office is in Nariman Point, guys, and I want to move myself from Nariman Point to another posh locality, Borivali. I want to move myself from Nariman Point to Borivali. ठीक है, तो in that case I am shifting my registered office within the city. I am within the state, within the city. So I need to simply pass a board resolution. बस मुझे किसी को पूछने की जरूरत नहीं. वो pass the board resolution, inform the ROC within a period of 30 days, and it's done. Now going ahead, let's suppose if I'm moving from one city to another city. Let's take for example, I am moving from Mumbai and I'm moving to Alibag. Okay, Alibag is also a city. Alibag is also a city, and Mumbai and Alibag both have the same ROC. Both of them have the same ROC. Same ROC. In that case, same registrar. दोनों का, Mumbai city, Alibag city, same registrar. So in that case, guys, I have to pass a special resolution, and after that, I have to give a notice to the ROC within a period of 30 days. Simple case. Remember, for all these things, section number 12 is only applicable. Now, if I'm moving from one state to another, within the state, I'm moving from one city to another city. Let's take, for example, I'm moving from, let's suppose I'm moving from Mumbai, I'm moving to Pune. Okay, and there is a separate ROC. Mumbai has a separate ROC, Pune has a separate ROC. So in that case, I have to take the permission of the regional director. Okay, first I have to pass a special resolution, then I have to take the permission of the regional director. Once I have the regional director, remember, regional director will reply to me within a period of 30 days. After that, I will tell the ROC within a period of 60 days. The company will tell the ROC within a period of 60 days. And after that, the ROC will reply back to me within a period of 30 days. And once the ROC replies back to me, that is going to be a conclusive evidence that yes, my registered office is shifted from Mumbai to Pune. Now, what is the reason for regional director? Was it the reason for regional director, guys? Now there are two ROCs in place: ROC Mumbai, ROC Pune. Therefore, we have to go to their hierarchy. We have to go to the superior, the regional director, and take the permission of him. एक बार इसने बोल दिया तो इन लोगों को किसको कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. We have to just inform the ROCs. फिर हमें ROC को पूछने की जरूरत नहीं है. मैंने रीजनल डायरेक्टर को पूछ लिया, भाई मैंने सीनियर को, ये जूनियर को क्या खेलते रहने का, सीनियर को पूछ लो ना, खेल खत्म. सीनियर को पूछ लिया, खेल खत्म, ठीक है. एंड एक बार मैंने भाई इनको पूछ लिया. किसको पूछ लिया? मैंने रीजनल डायरेक्टर सीनियर को पूछ लिया. इट इज डन. ओके, now there is a very important concept that I am currently covering here right now. Focus karna very carefully. We are currently looking at section number 12. Now we are jumping from section number 12 to section number 13, and there's a very important reason for that. Focus karna. The reason is hidden in this. The reason is hidden in this table. See, understand, guys. Section number 4. Okay, section number 4. Section number 4, guys, talks. Section number 4, guys, talks only about. Section number 4 talks about memorandum clauses. Section number 13 talks about altering the memorandum. Okay, when I have to make some changes in the memorandum, and section number 13 says that whenever you want to change the memorandum, okay, you will have to definitely pass a special resolution. That is true. Okay, but remember, over here, look at this. If you notice in the memorandum, guys, in the memorandum, in the registered office clause, what do they say? Registered office of the company will be situated in the state of, let's suppose, state of Maharashtra. Now, if you notice, is the entire address given here? The entire address is not given in the registered office clause. Okay. Therefore, in the first three cases, when I was simply moving from Nariman Point to Borivali, my state was not getting changed. Therefore, I was applying section 12. When I was moving from Mumbai to Alibag, my state was not getting changed. Therefore, apply section number 12. When I was moving from Mumbai to Pune, my state was not getting changed. Therefore, section number 12. But the moment, guys, when I moved from Mumbai to Gujarat, Mumbai to Rajasthan, Mumbai to Mumbai to some other state, Orissa, Mumbai to Madhya Pradesh, when I'm moving from Maharashtra to another state. So in that case, it is quite obvious that my clause 2 has to be amended. My clause 2 has to be amended, and only in that is a case of alteration of registered office clause, and therefore section 13 was applicable. In all the other cases, my registered office clause was getting altered. My registered office clause was never getting altered. Only the registered office address was getting altered. Therefore, we were on section number 12. But the moment your state changes, you have to go and apply section number 13. And what does section number 13 say? Section number 13 says that pass a special resolution. Remember, whenever you want to alter your memorandum, you have to pass a special resolution. You have to take the approval of the central government. After that, central government will reply back to you within 30 days. The company will have to go to the ROC within a period of 30 days. Okay. Once the ROC will reply back to you within a period of 30 days, after that the ROC will give you a fresh certificate of incorporation. You will receive a fresh certificate of incorporation. And remember, the central government will not give you the approval till the time it is completely satisfied that the creditors, okay, the creditors of the company, okay, they have either given their consent, you have either paid them, or you have given adequate security. Okay, any of the three is done. Only after that, guys, the creditor central government will give you the approval. Remember, the central government will not let you leave the state till the time the creditors are satisfied. Till the time the central government understand that all the creditors have given their approval, the central government will not let you leave the state. I hope this concept is clear. Now, coming to the object clause. Object clause. Okay, object clause is divided into two parts, guys. Object clause. Everybody attention on the board. Everybody who's looking on the mobile phone, please everybody attention on the board. Okay. Object clause is divided into two parts. One is the main object and another is the incidental object. One is the main object and another incidental object. Incidental means what? Secondary, ancillary objects to it. Okay. Let's take for example, if my company's if I'm opening a company for teaching, I'm opening a coaching class. So in that case, guys, my main object is going to be teaching. But let's take for example, my ancillary object would be career guidance, providing career guidance. That will be my ancillary incidental object, which I can also do along with my main object. Okay. Now, if at all I have raised money through the public, focus karna carefully. This is something we are also diving into the prospectus chapter now. If at all I have raised money through the public, if I've raised money through the public and the money remains unutilized, let's take for example, I have raised around 100 crores from the public, and out of that, guys, 2 crores remains out. 2 crore kya bol raha hu? Out of that, let's say for example, 80 crores remains unutilized, and now I want to utilize that 80 crores somewhere else. I told you that give me 100 crores. I'm going to open a hospital. And let's take I am going to give me 100 crores. I'm going to open a school. Now you guys trust me as a professor, right? So you guys knew that Aakash sir will be opening a fantastic school. Therefore, you guys gave me the money. You guys gave me 100 crores, right? But after applying 20 crores, I realized that I am not going to open a school. I am going to open a hospital. Now in this case, can I change the object? Can I move the money from here to there? Okay. For that, we have to see. You will have to first pass a special resolution in the general meeting. You have to publish it in the newspaper also, English or vernacular, and also on the website. The people who believe that the hospital will not be successful, I will have to give an exit opportunity to the dissenting shareholders. The dissenting shareholders are the people who are saying no, Aakash sir, you cannot utilize our money for a hospital. Okay, I have to give them exit opportunity. I will tell them, paisa lo or niklo. Okay, if you can't be with us, take the money out. Okay. I will also have to alter the memorandum. Now in the memorandum, I will have to put that I am into the hospital business also. I will put that in the object clause and I will send it to the ROC. ROC will register the proposed change within a period of 30 days. But if at all, it's a normal case. Okay, it's a normal case where I have not taken money from the public. I want to simply change my object. I'm a private company. I want to simply change my object. Okay, so in that case, just pass a special resolution, send the altered MOA to the ROC. ROC will register the proposed change within 30 days. Now, with regards to the object clause, there are 2-3 questions in the study material. You can look at those questions. Good questions in the study material. Now, what is the doctrine of ultra-virus, guys? Doctrine of ultra-virus states that. What is the doctrine of ultra-virus? The doctrine of ultra-virus simply says that whatever work you're doing beyond your powers is going to be ultra-virus. This is a simple case law of Ashbury railway carriage and ironclad versus Ritchie. Okay, you can read this case law. Not important right now. Okay, what is the doctrine of constructive notice? The doctrine of constructive notice says that, listen to me very carefully, ये important है. ये doctrine of constructive notice and indoor management both are important. In the company law, the doctrine of constructive notice is a doctrine where persons dealing with the company are deemed to have knowledge of the company's articles and memorandum. In this case, means the moment you are dealing with the company, listen to me very carefully. If the third party is dealing with me, I am the company. We will assume that you have read my articles, you have read my memorandum, you have read my articles of association. Sir, where do we get all these? Simply when you go on the MCA portal, on the MCA portal, you have to simply create a login ID. Okay, you have to pay 100 rupees. The moment you have paid 100 rupees, you can get anything, all the data about the company. You can get their financial statement, even for private companies. Remember, even for private companies, you can get all the data. You can get the financial statements. You can get the articles. You can get the memorandum. So remember always, when you also deal with a company, okay, let's suppose the company is entering into a contract with you. It is up to you first to pay these 100 rupees to the MCA. Okay, once you pay the 100 rupees to the MCA, you download the articles, you download the memorandum, read it very well, see whether the company has the power to enter into the contract. Okay, if at all you don't read it, the company will assume that you already have notice of that. The company will assume that you already have read it. Okay, that is the doctrine of constructive notice. Okay, memorandum and articles are called public documents, which is easily accessible and everyone can access it before dealing with the company. Now, another important aspect is the last doctrine, that is doctrine of indoor management. Now, what does this doctrine? It is also known as the Turquoise rule. Royal British Bank versus Turquoise का case है. ठीक है, तो in that case, what had happened was that Royal British Bank had issued these bonds, okay, and they were trying to enforce these bonds. Now there was some signature or approval which was not there on these bonds. Okay, they had not passed an internal regulation. So in this case, the Royal British Bank simply said that, boss, we are not aware of what is happening inside the company. Okay, we will assume that inside the company everything what is happening is completely right. Okay, we are not privy to what is happening inside the company. So doctrine of indoor management so what happens is that, see, the third party will use the doctrine of indoor management, company will use the doctrine of constructive notice. Whosoever has a valid argument, whosoever has good arguments in the case, okay, they win the case. Okay, so remember, doctrine of indoor management, guys, it protects the third parties. Doctrine of constructive notice protects the company against third party. Doctrine of indoor management protects the third party against the company. Okay, now what is the question that is usually asked in the paper? They ask you what are the exceptions. Okay, exceptions to the doctrine. This is very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. What are the exceptions to the doctrine of indoor management? Means where these are the cases where the third party cannot use the defense of doctrine of indoor management, and the third party will lose. If you notice, listen, look at the sentence. Exception to doctrine of indoor management. That means applicability of doctrine of constructive notice. Means in these cases, the third party will lose and the company will win. Okay. Now, let's suppose I am dealing with the company and I'm saying that I was not aware what is happening inside the company. I am using the doctrine of indoor management. But remember, if I already have knowledge of the irregularity, okay, if I knew that the company has not passed this board resolution, if I already knew that, in that case, guys, and still I entered into a contract, it is my mistake. It is not the company's mistake. The company will win. The company can say no to the contract. The company will win. Okay, so if I'm already aware of the irregularity, I am at loss. Second point, if through minimum effort, I could easily understand. Through minimum effort, if I could easily understand that yes, whether the company has the power or not, whether the company has the power to enter into this contract or not, but I was negligent. I did not take adequate measures. I was negligent. I did not care. I do not care to know that. In that case, I will lose the case. I'll give you a simple example of that. Let's suppose there is a company. Focus करना, there's a company X Limited, and there is an accountant, Mr. A. There was an accountant, Mr. A. Accountant was selling to Mr. B, who is a third party. The accountant was selling the land. Take a land which was the property of X Limited. This accountant was selling land to Mr. B. Okay, and what happened was Mr. B gave him the money. Mr. B gave him the money and he wanted the land. Now what happened was that X Limited said, no. We are not giving you the land. In this case, you should have first checked. Whether Mr. A has the authority to sell the land or not. What was Mr. B saying? Mr. B was saying that whatever is happening inside your company, you have given him the authority or not. That's up to you. That's up to you. I have dealt with the company. But remember, do you really think so? अरे यार यहाँ पे इतना easy case है. Any कोई accountant बेचारा छोटा accountant, does an accountant ever sell the property? Right? It was your mistake, Mr. B. It was your mistake. You were negligent enough. You did not care to check whether Mr. A had the authority or not. Had you checked it, you would have never entered into a contract only. But it was your mistake. That is, this is an exception to doctrine of intermanagement. You cannot use the defense of intermanagement. You will lose the case. Mr. X Limited will win the case. And last case is of forgery. Guys, remember, forgery is a nullity. Forgery is a nullity. Forgery does not give any right or powers to anybody. Okay. So let's take for example, there's a company X Limited. In X Limited, there was let's suppose there was a company secretary. Now, what happened was that the company secretary issued share certificate. He issued share certificates to Mr. A. Okay, and on the share certificate, suppose 2 directors were supposed to sign. What happened was the company secretary forged the signatures and he issued the certificates. Now, in this case, Mr. A has paid the money. Mr. A says that I am the owner of these shares. But remember, because there was forgery, X Limited was never bound to give them the shares. Therefore, this is invalid. Okay, A will not get the shares because of the fact that there was forgery. So remember, A cannot say that whatever is happening inside your company is your lookout. A cannot say this in the case of forgery. In forgery is a nullity. Therefore, the company will win. That is applicability of constructive notice. Company will win, and Mr. A third party will lose. Okay. I hope the doctrine of intermanagement and doctrine of constructive notice is clear to everybody. Okay, exactly at 12 o'clock, I'll be looking at the questions. Let's focus on the last bit, that is articles of association, guys. Okay, so now article of association, isme sabse important point, by the way, this point, listen to me very carefully. Articles are contained in table F, G, H, I, J. Articles are contained in table F, G, H, I, J of schedule 1. Okay, I've posted a table also over here. Please make sure you guys read this table carefully. Yeah, I've posted a table over here. This table can come in your MCQs. Okay, this table can come in your MCQs. That over here it is quite clearly specified that which table talks is for which company, which table is for which articles ka table is for which company. Okay, once you can use this table to clear the MCQs. Okay. Now, let's focus the concept of entrenchment. Jan 21 or November 21, both of these 2 5-marker question came on entrenchment. Okay, I have a very good feeling entrenchment can come once again. Focus करना entrenchment. What do you mean by entrenchment? ध्यान सुनना. What do you mean by entrenchment? Let's suppose there's a person, Mr. A and Mr. B. Okay, Mr. A and Mr. B, they both have started a company. Okay. Now remember, simple section referencing. Section 4, 5, 13, 14. Section 4 is memorandum, 13 alteration of memorandum. Section 5 articles, 14 alteration of articles. Now, always remember section 13 and 14 simply said that whenever you want to alter the MOA, whenever you want to alter the AOA, you have to pass a special resolution. क्या पास करना पड़ता है भाई? क्या पास करना पड़ता है? हाँ, smart Alex, beta, don't worry. The people who have registered are going to get. The people who have registered this are going to get. Okay, beta. Now, guys, section 4 and I just simply told you that section 13 says that whenever you want to alter the memorandum, whenever you want to alter the articles, you have to pass a special resolution. Okay. Now, A and B, they both incorporate a company, and they have said in the notice that Mr. A will be director. Mr. A will be director for lifetime. Okay, this is something which is written in the articles of association. Now, understand very carefully. So now, A and B have incorporated this company, and they have written that Mr. A will be director for lifetime. That is written in the articles. That is an internal rule. He will not be removed as a director. Now, guys, let's suppose the company will need more funds. Barabar? Eventually, the company will need more funds. Currently, A and B have invested. Right now, let's suppose outsiders invest. Outsiders invest in the company, and Mr. A, who was earlier holding 50%, B was holding 50%. Their stake reduces to 5%, and the outsiders now hold 90%. Now tell me, can the outsiders simply pass a special resolution? They can simply pass a special resolution, right? Special resolution, you need minimum 75% majority, 3/4. Okay, the outsiders can simply pass a special resolution and they can change this line. Okay, they can change this line. Now, because of which, okay, Mr. A is worried. Mr. A believes that he will not be able to be the director of the company for lifetime, because eventually, when the shareholding goes in the hands of many people, okay, and his shareholding will go down, his shareholding will be diluted. Okay, what will happen is that the outsiders will simply pass a special resolution. They will amend the articles. They will alter the articles, and they will remove this line. Now, in order to avoid that, what will Mr. A and B do? Listen to me very carefully. What will Mr. A and B do? Mr. A in the articles will write an entrenchment clause. Listen to me very carefully. What will they write? A will be director for lifetime. They will add one more line over here. Sorry. Okay. This clause will alter with 90% majority. Now, do you realize what did they do? Okay, there are many other clauses. There are many other clauses in the articles. There are many. This is one clause, other clause, third clause. But for this specific clause, what have they inserted in the articles? That this clause will alter with 90% majority. Now, if you notice what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to make the special resolution more restrictive. I'm trying to make the special resolution more restrictive. I'm trying to make the special resolution more difficult. Okay, when I'm making the special resolution more difficult, that is entrenchment provision. So this provision which is inserted, that is an entrenchment provision. Now, the question is that, sir, when should we insert the entrenchment provision? Okay, first of all, this is the entrenchment provision. Is everybody clear? Remember, you cannot reduce 75 to 74. But you can make 75 as 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 90, 99, 100. You can make it more restrictive. You cannot make the special resolution easier. You can make changing the articles more difficult. And making the change in the articles more difficult is entrenchment. Making the change in the articles more difficult is entrenchment. Okay. Now, what are the cases when you can insert the entrenchment provision? Remember, you can insert the entrenchment provision at the time of formation. That time you don't have to ask anybody, and you can insert the entrenchment provision later on. But later on, in the case of private company, you have to ask everybody. In the case of public company, you have to pass special resolution. Only then you can insert those green lines. आपको वो ग्रीन लाइंस को इंसर्ट करना था ना, तो ग्रीन लाइंस को इंसर्ट करने के लिए आपको पब्लिक कंपनी में एसआर पास करना पड़ेगा, प्राइवेट कंपनी में आपको सब मेंबर्स को पूछना पड़ेगा. तो आफ्टर दैट यू कैन इंसर्ट दैट ग्रीन लाइन and you can insert the entrenchment provisions in the articles. Okay, are we crystal clear with the entrenchment provisions, guys? Entrenchment just got completed. Okay, now remember, when you convert your private company to public company and public company to private company, what is the provisions? Simple provision, guys. At the start of the lecture we focused in the case if I am converting my private company to public company, so in that case special resolution is to be passed to amend the articles to remove the restrictions. वो 3 restrictions थे ना, PNR को remove करने के लिए मुझे special resolution pass करना पड़ेगा to amend the articles. I don't need approval of the central government. I don't need here, because this is a very normal thing to happen. A small company converting to a big company, it is a normal thing to happen. I have to comply with all the requirements of public company, file the alter articles with the ROC. ROC will register the new articles, and special resolution for name change is not required. We have discussed this before. Okay. And when it comes to public to private, when I'm converting my public company to private company, at this time I have to pass a special resolution to amend the articles to include the restrictions. The PNR is now to be included. Now, approval of CG is required, because this is not a normal case. A big company, public company converting to a private company, it is not a normal case. So therefore, approval of CG is required. Max members 200. File altered AOA with the ROC. ROC will register the new articles, and special resolution for name changes not required. We have discussed this before. Section 15-17 is just read. You can read these sections, very simple sections. Okay. Commencement of business. You cannot commence your business until unless you do 2 things. First, the declaration has to be filed by the director that within a period of 180 days of the incorporation, all the members who had said that they will pay the amount of capital, they have paid it. And second, the ROC has done verification of registration office. Okay, when these two things are done, after that you can commence your business. You cannot commence your business till the time the directors have filed this declaration. You cannot commence your business till the time the company has filed with the ROC a verification of registration of office, registered office. Once both these two things are done, after that under section 10A, once both these things are done, after that under section 10A, yeah, you can commence your business very well. Okay. Now, coming to the end of chapter number 2, almost we are about to finish the chapter number 2, guys. Section number 19 that talks about subsidiary company not to hold shares in holding company. Listen to me very carefully. 3 cases यहाँ पे. What is the bottom rule of section number 19? Section number 19 simply says that, focus करना ध्यान से. Let's suppose this is A Limited. A Limited is holding in B Limited. Let's suppose the voting percentage is 60%. B Limited cannot hold shares in A Limited. That is what is told by section 19. Subsidiary company cannot hold shares in holding company. Okay. Holding can do it, vice versa, not possible. But there are 3 exceptions. There are 3 exceptions to this. First exception. Let's suppose, guys, on the 1st of January, on 1st January 21, B Limited, focus karna, B Limited was holding in A Limited to the tune of 10%. Now, on 1st April 21, A Limited came in and now it is holding in B Limited to the tune of 60%. Okay. Now, this is valid. Now, do you notice? जो पहले हो गया है ना, जो पहले हो गया वो हो गया. That is valid. ठीक है. After this, B Limited cannot hold any extra shares. The 10% that they're holding now, that they can continue to hold, but they cannot go beyond 10. They cannot go beyond 10 ka 11 ka 12. They cannot go. Okay, so remember the first exception. Whatever happened in the past is past. Okay, that will continue. But from the future perspective, B cannot hold more shares in A. B was already holding 10. That is okay. But B cannot hold more than 10. Second exception is a very simple exception. Let's suppose there was an old person. There's an old person who was holding in A Limited. A was holding in B Limited. Now old has made B Limited as legal representative. Now if you notice, guys, once the old person dies, the shares will vest with the legal representative, that is B Limited. Now automatically B is holding in A Limited. That is allowed. Why? Because over here B Limited is holding shares as a legal representative of the old person. That is allowed. Here B Limited is not voluntarily wanting to hold any shares. B Limited is holding it just because the old person has made it as the legal representative. And last exception, guys, let's suppose there is a person, Mr. Rich. Mr. Rich is holding shares in A Limited. A Limited is holding shares in B Limited. Now let's suppose Mr. Rich made a trust. And he donated his shares. Okay, his 10% shares in A Limited. Okay, he's donated to the trust. Okay, and he has made B Limited as the trustee. Okay, now if you notice, because B Limited has been made, which is a subsidiary of A, has been made as the trustee, therefore B Limited is holding shares in A Limited. B Limited अपनी मर्जी से shares hold नहीं कर रहा है. B Limited is holding shares in A Limited as the trustee. Now, when this is the case, guys, it is an exception to section number 19 and it is allowed. ये allowed है. तो मैंने आपको 3 exception बता दिए. पहला past holding allowed है. दूसरा वाला, if at all the subsidiary is holding shares as a legal representative, allowed है. If the subsidiary is holding shares as a trustee, allowed है. Okay. Very good. Service of documents is a simple section. Okay, I'm not covering this in the super quick revision. Okay, who can sign on behalf of the company? Remember, the key managerial personnel, KMPs of the company, and any other officer authorized, they can sign on behalf of the company. KMP definition is given in 2 clause 51. Who are the KMPs in the company? CEO, manager, MD, company secretary, whole-time director, CFO, such person not below the level of whole-time director, and such other prescribed person. This is a sundry category. So these are the KMPs in the company, and any other officer who is authorized by the board, they can sign on behalf of the company as per section 21. Okay. Section 22 is a simple section. I'm not covering out here, right here. Okay. This table I've already told you, you're supposed to look at this table. Okay. This might come in your MCQ. With that, very good guys. We have already reached 12 o'clock and we are through with 2 chapters. Okay, let me see if there are any doubts. कोई भी doubts है तो भाई please मुझे अभी chat box में पूछ लो. Yeah, guys, all the people who have registered for the seminar, all the people who have registered, please make sure that जिन registered वाले हैं, जिन्होंने register कर लिया है, definitely everybody is going to get the notes. Okay. I have received a question, sir. Can you please explain the entrenchment clause once again? Beta, I'll explain you the entrenchment clause once again. Listen to me very carefully. Beta, entrenchment clause. I'm putting the entrenchment clause when I fear that a particular clause can go against me. Therefore, I don't want that clause to get amended simply by special resolution. I want to make amending that clause difficult. Okay. Therefore, I'm inserting that green line. This clause will amend with a 90% majority or a 95% majority. Okay. When I insert that green line, means I'm inserting an entrenchment provision. एक simple line बताता हूँ. Entrenchment means making the alteration of articles difficult. That is a simple line. When I am inserting the entrenchment provision, there are 2 cases. I can insert the entrenchment provision at the time of formation. I don't have to ask anybody. But if I'm a private company and I'm inserting the entrenchment provision, I have to ask all members. I need 100% approval. And after that, if I'm a public company and I'm inserting the entrenchment provision, I have to pass a special resolution. Okay, beta. I've received one question for the place clause. Beta, there are 4 cases. Whenever I am moving from within my city, state is not changing, section 12. I am moving from one city to another city, then in that case, same ROC, same state, section 12. If I'm in the same city but different ROC, section 12. But when my state changes from Maharashtra to Gujarat, to in the Maharashtra to Rajasthan, so in that case, I have to take the approval of the central government. And in that is a case of alteration of the memorandum. Why? Because in the memorandum, we simply write the state name. And when the state name changes, memorandum will change. Section 13 will apply. Special resolution is required. Central government approval is required. Central government will not give you the approval till the time it is completely satisfied that every creditor has given his approval. Okay, beta. Chalo, how's the Josh, guys? How's the Josh? Everybody. Section numbers. We have 65 people on the classroom. Okay, and there are 10-15 people who are sitting on YouTube. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying. And let's move on to the next chapter. That is chapter number 3. That is a chapter of prospectus. Okay, बहुत बढ़िया. Okay, let's start. Okay, if you guys are able to recollect all these points, then definitely 60 plus is not far away. Okay, सारे points जो मैंने आपको बताए अगर आपको recollect हो रहे हैं, मतलब भाई माशाल्लाह आपको भाई concepts clear है. ठीक है, अगर भाई if at all you guys are not being able to recollect, डर लग रहा है, तो in that case भाई संकट की घड़ी आ चुकी है आपके सामने कि आपको लॉ को रिवाइज करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, ओके, चलिए बच्चों आगे बढ़ते हैं. चैप्टर नंबर 3, that is prospectus. Okay, I want to try and make sure at least chapter number 3 and another small chapter gets completed. 4 चैप्टर आज हो जाने चाहिए so that कल हम लोग और 4-5 चैप्टर कवर कर पाए. ठीक है, that is my target. चलिए शुरू करते हैं लेके भगवान का नाम. We are starting with the chapter of prospectus. Prospectus chapter भाई बहुत सिंपल है. ठीक है, मुझे भाई मैक्सिमम 15 से 20 मिनट लगेंगे प्रोस्पेक्टस खत्म करने के लिए. ठीक है, मुझे 15 से 20 मिनट लगेंगे, तुम्हें भी 15 से 20 मिनट लगने चाहिए. ठीक है, तो आंख नाक कान मुंह सब खुले रख के सुनना. ठीक है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर है, ध्यान सुनो. व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ इशू. एक होता है भैया पब्लिक इशू. हम जनता से पैसा मांग रहे हैं जनता. ठीक है, जनता से जब पैसा मांग रहा हूं मैं, तो इन दैट केस पब्लिक इशू आ जाएगा. जब मैं भाई प्राइवेटली मेरे पहचान वालों से पैसा मांग रहा हूँ, प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट आ जाएगा. ये है हमारा फंडा सेक्शन नंबर 42 में. ठीक है, और बाकी के टाइप के इश्यूज कौन से होते हैं बच्चों? राइट इशू होता है जो हम लोग सेक्शन 62 में देखेंगे. बोनस इशू होता है जो हम लोग सेक्शन 63 में देखेंगे. ईसॉप भी हम लोग कहाँ देखने वाले? सेक्शन 62 में देखने वाले. ठीक है, स्वेट इक्विटी कहाँ देखते हैं बच्चों? हम लोग सेक्शन नंबर 54 में. सेक्शन वाइज याद रखना है. सेक्शन पेपर में सेक्शन ना लिखने की गलती मत करना. सेक्शन लिख के आना पेपर में. यू हैव टू राइट द सेक्शन नंबर इन द पेपर. ठीक है, you remember, understand, your competition is with the entire country. You have to show the examiner that you are giving him something else which other people are not giving. Therefore you need to write section numbers. याद नहीं रहते, याद करो, कोई कोई चारा नहीं है भाई, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बन रहे हो। ओके, अभी भैया हम देख रहे हैं पब्लिक इशू, हम लोग देख रहे हैं अभी पब्लिक इशू प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट। ठीक है, इसमें सबसे पहले मैं भाई प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट खत्म कर देता हूँ। प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट में पहले खत्म कर देता हूँ। प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट बहुत सिंपल है। ओके, और प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट से क्वेश्चन बन जाता है। ठीक है, इसके लिए पहले प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट खत्म करते हैं। दिस इज सम अदर्स वाला चैप्टर 4 में देखने वाले हैं। अदर्स इज समथिंग दैट विल बी सीइंग इन चैप्टर नंबर 4। चलिए बच्चों, प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट पहले खत्म कर देते हैं। देख लो भाई, प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट सेक्शन नंबर 42। कंपनी क्या करने वाली है, 10 मिनट लगेंगे इसको खत्म करने के लिए। ध्यान सुनना, प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ठीक है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट कौन कौन कर सकता है? प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट पब्लिक कंपनी कर सकता है, प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट प्राइवेट कंपनी कर सकता है। ठीक है, हाँ, पब्लिक कंपनी भी प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट कर सकता है, याद रखना। प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट प्राइवेट कंपनी तो कर ही सकता है। ठीक है, ये हम लोग किसके लिए करते हैं यूजुअली? वी यूजुअली डू दिस थिंग फॉर somebody who's a high net worth individual, somebody who's a high net, अगर मेरी छोटी कंपनी तो मैं किसी पहचान वाले को दे रहा हूँ, कोई HNI है, हाई नेटवर्थ इंडिविजुअल है, बहुत पैसा डालना चाहता है, he wants to insert money in the company, we do the private placement. ठीक है, company has to identify persons to whom the private placement offer is to be made. I will give the offer, I will tell you, Mr. X, let's suppose I have started a company. ठीक है, I have started my company, I am asking, I am writing a public, as हम करते हैं, I am writing the private placement offer letter to Mukesh Ambani. ठीक है, आई एम टेलिंग मुकेश अंबानी जी, डू यू वांट टू इन्वेस्ट इन माय कंपनी? ठीक है, I have identified Mukesh Ambani as the person to whom the private placement offer will be made. Now, any kind of advertisement is not allowed. It is quite obvious, na boss. I am not inviting others. I am not investing the entire public to come, पैसा डालो. Advertisement नहीं करने का. You are not allowed to do advertisement. I will come to you specifically. Do you want to invest? Yes, no, end. Now, in this case, remember, in a year I can go to maximum 200 persons. This is not maximum 200 shares or not maximum 200 debenture, maximum 200 persons. ठीक है, per annum per security. So in that case, for shares and debentures, for shares also I have 200 persons, for debentures also I have 200 persons. Now in this case, I am not supposed to count qualified institutional buyers. I am not supposed to count the people whom I have offered ESOP. This point has been asked in your MCQ. ठीक है, तो remember this point very carefully. In this 200 का list, in the 200 people, I'm not supposed to count the qualified institutional buyers. I'm not supposed to count the people with ESOP. Now, these restrictions are not applicable to NBFC and housing finance companies if they are complying with RBI regulations. So RBI के रेगुलेशन में टांग अड़ाने का नहीं। RBI ने रेगुलेशन दिया है ना, RBI का उस रेगुलेशन का उसका पालन करने का। ठीक है, अगर आप NBFC नहीं हो, अगर आप हाउसिंग फाइनेंस कंपनी नहीं हो, if you are a normal company, then in that case this provision will apply. Now, what is the first step? I have identified the person. I will pass the board resolution. After that, I will record name. I will record Mukesh Ambani's name in PAS 5. This is a form. I will have to pass special resolution in the extraordinary general meeting. I will pass a special resolution in EGM, and after that, I will have to file the special resolution with the ROC. Once I file the special in the ROC, I will inform them, hey ROC, listen, I'm going to get money from Mukesh Ambani. I'm sending him an offer letter. He's going to give me money. Okay. Now, what I will do, I will send PAS 4 form to the identified persons. I will send PAS 4 form. PAS 4 is the offer letter. I will send the offer letter. I will send the offer letter Mukesh Ambani telling me, Mukesh Ambani ji, do you want to invest in my company? Now, I have to send this offer letter within a period of 30 days of recording names in PAS 5. If you remember, in PAS 5, I had recorded his name. Now, the moment I record his name, after that, within 30 days, I have to make sure that I send the offer letter. Only Mukesh Ambani can reply. Mukesh, that letter is read by Nita Ambani. Nita Ambani cannot reply. Nita Ambani cannot say yes or no. His child Aakash Ambani cannot say yes or no. We both share the same name, surname different. ठीक है, Aakash Ambani cannot reply. Only Mukesh Ambani can reply. ठीक है, only the identified person, they have to apply and make payment by check, demand draft or ECS. Cash में you can't make the payment. Now the company. Now guys, let's suppose I give you some money. You can use that money, right? Mukesh Ambani has given the company money, but the company cannot use that money. Yes, you heard it right. Company cannot use that money. Okay, why? There are some other work left. Once you do that work, after that you can use that money. देखो, once the identified person has to apply in check, DD or ECS, not cash, company will have to maintain the records of bank account from where such payment is received. From where the payment is received, the company has to make sure that they keep the data of that bank account. Money has to be kept in a separate bank account. Now listen, I will keep details of Mukesh Ambani's bank account, but the money I will keep in a separate account with a scheduled bank. Okay. Now after that, once I receive the money from Mukesh Ambani, I have to make sure that I allot him the securities. Either it might be shares or debentures. I have to allot it within a period of 60 days. I have to make sure I allot the securities within a period of 60 days. Okay. Now, if I don't allot within 60 days, within the next 15 days, I have to refund the money. So I receive the money here from Mukesh Ambani. I have 760 days. If I don't, understand very carefully, 60 days, 15 days. I have this much time to allot. If I don't allot in the next 15 days, I have to refund the money. But I don't refund him. I do not refund him. So in that case, the company will have to pay interest at 12% per annum. And remember that interest will start from the end of 60 days. The interest will not start from the end of 75th day. It will start from the end of 60th day. Okay. Now, let's take a good case scenario. We allotted the share. Within a period of 60 days. Once allotted, I have to file PAS 3, that is return of allotment, within 15 days of allotment. Now, this is within 15 days of allotment. Let's suppose on the very next day. Let's suppose यहाँ पे बच्चों, for example, लो, on the 10th day, I allotted him the share. Then यहाँ से within 15 days, I have to file the return of allotment. That is PAS 3. Now, if the company, understand, if the company, guys, fails to file PAS 3, okay, within 15 days, then director and promoter will be fined 1,000 rupees per day, maximum 25 lakhs. And guys, after allotment and after filing the PAS 3, the company can use the money. Okay, till the time you have not filed the PAS 3, till the time you have not allotted the securities, you cannot utilize the money. Okay. Now, if you remember, we were supposed to pass a specialization over here. Yeah, but there is some funda about specialization you have to know very well. Focus karna dhyan se. If the private placement, carefully understand, I am issuing shares to Mukesh Ambani. What I'm issuing? I am issuing shares, or I am issuing convertible debenture, which are eventually going to get converted into shares. So in that case, a special resolution is always required. Okay, but if at all I am issuing non-convertible debentures, means these are the debentures that will never get converted into shares, and if the issue amount of debentures is very small, less than what is given in section 180, special resolution is not required at all. But if the amount exceeds section 180, you take the special resolution once, and the validity is of 1 year. In that 1 year, you can issue debentures to that person multiple times. You can issue debentures to non-convertible debentures multiple times just by passing one SR. Now, you have to be clear with the logic. Why is this case? Understand very carefully, guys. Understand. Let's suppose there are two people who have invested in the company A and B. Okay, A and B have invested in the company. Now, A is holding 50%, B is holding 50%. Okay, now, understand, it's quite obvious, guys, when we are allotting, suppose when we are allotting shares, okay, when now the company is going to allot shares to Mukesh Ambani, it is quite obvious Mukesh Ambani will give the money, WICASA Ambani will get the shares. Okay, now understand, let's suppose Mukesh Ambani gets 30% of the company. What will be left with these guys? 60%. Barabar? What will be left with these guys? 70% will be left. Now, do you notice A is holding 35, B is holding 35? Do you realize A and B's holding goes down? Earlier they were holding 50%. Now they are holding 35. B is holding 35. So, therefore, whenever a new shareholder is coming in place, always remember, you have to first take the approval of the previous shareholders. I have to inform the shareholders that previous shareholders, listen, the moment we issue new shares, it is quite obvious your shareholding will go down and your control in the company might go down. Okay, if you're okay with it, then only pass the SR. I mean, let's issue the shares. If you're not okay, don't pass the SR. We will not issue the shares. So therefore, remember, if it's a case of share issue or if it's a case of convertible debenture, always you need a special resolution from the existing members. We have to first inform them that, see, in the long run, when the share will be issued, in the long run, when the convertible debenture will be converted into share, okay, that time your holding will go down. That time there could be a possibility you might lose control of your company. Therefore, be very careful when you're passing the current special resolution. But over here, guys, here non-convertible debenture है, non-convertible debenture है, तो current shareholders का shareholding कभी कम नहीं होने वाला है. It is not going to go down. Therefore, special resolution is not that great over here. यहाँ पे देखो ना, जब छोटा debenture है तो जरूरत ही नहीं है, और यहाँ पे एक बार फाइल कर दिया तो चलेगा ऐसे. बट यहाँ पे जब मैं इशू करूंगा, मुझे हमेशा SR चाहिए. I hope the logic is clear to everyone. Why a special resolution is always required over here, and here there is less importance given to special resolution. Got it? And remember one important point in private placement: I cannot make a fresh offer of private placement till the time the previous offer is either completed or abandoned. Till the time the previous offer is going on, till the time the shares are allotted under the previous offer, till the time the previous offer is abandoned, I cannot make a new offer. Okay, if the company contravenes this, then they will be penalized. Okay, this is a very important question from your exam perspective. Mark this as very important. PQR limited wala question है, बहुत important है. Okay, there is a very high chance of this question coming in the paper. Private placement wala. ठीक है, guys, I hope private placement is clear to you all. Private placement समझ में आया? समझ में आया? Clear हो गया? Naman, in that case, section 1, 2A, B. In that case, it's going to be section 1. Let me just clear that doubt. Focus karo. Focus karna. Always. You have section 4, you have 1, you have, let's suppose, A and 1. This is section, this is subsection, this is clause, and this is subclause. Okay, but remember, when it is a definition section, okay, suppose it's 2-1, so in this case this is section and this is clause. Okay, this kind of a nomenclature, this kind of a pronunciation is utilized. Beta, somebody is not on mute. Okay, this kind of a nomenclature is used only for the definition section and not for the others. For others, you have to go use this one. Okay, and Priyanka beta, the section 180 is not there for your syllabus. It is that at the CFN level. Therefore, I'm not covering it right now. Okay.
Sir.
Yes, Naman, tell me.
So, but in some videos, I have seen that they have used clause instead of subsection in that nomenclature.
The faculty who might be teaching, they might not be aware of that, but this is the usual way of pronunciation. Okay, but any which ways, when you're explaining it, that time you have to be more careful. When you're writing it down, तो you're not writing it. ठीक है, जब आप ऐसा नहीं लिख रहे हो ना, section 1 subsection 2 वैसा, ठीक है, when you're writing it down, directly section number लिख देना, ठीक है, but the faculty who must have seen on the video or anywhere, ठीक है, they might not be aware of it, ठीक है, but always remember, in the case of section number 2, there is a definition section, you have to use that kind of nomenclature, but in the case of other sections, okay, वो nomenclature आता है section, subsection, clause, subclause, ठीक है.
Okay, thank you.
चलो आगे बढ़े. Let's go to the next section now. Now we are looking at the public issue. Private placement has just got completed. Let's look at the public issue, guys. First section, first most important section, that is section number 25, deemed prospectus. Suchita, we are trying a level best, beta. Suchita, we are trying a level best. Okay, focus on the what is happening. ठीक है, जो हो रहा है उस पे ध्यान दो, बाकी भगवान के ऊपर छोड़ दो. Section 25 talks about, first of all, what is a prospectus? Guys, whenever a company is doing a public issue, ठीक है, from the public से पैसा उठा रही है, when they are getting shares or debenture का money from the public, the company will issue a prospectus. A prospectus is a document which is around 400-500 pager, big document, 400 to 500 pager का document होता है. Okay, and in this document you will get all the data about the company. You will get all the data about the company. Okay, now understand. What does section number 25 says? Section number 25 simply says that where a company is allotting or agrees to allot securities with a view to all those securities being offered for sale to the public, Any document by which the offer for sale is made shall be deemed to be a prospectus. So any document, even if you issue it on a normal piece of paper, any document which you issue where you says that where you're asking the person to give you money, okay, we are giving you shares, give me money, that document will be deemed to be a prospectus. Who has to sign the prospectus? Where a person making the offer is a company, the offer document is to be signed by 2 directors. Minimum 2 directors have to sign the offer document. Okay, and if the offer document, and in the case the person making the offer is a firm, this is a case where the firm is getting converted into a company, and the firm is getting converted into a company, and they are asking for money on the conversion. In that case, the document has to be signed by minimum 1/2 of the partners. But this is more than this. This case comes in the paper. Okay, this is one MCQ also which is there in your MCQ booklet. Focus karna very carefully of very important and interesting concept. The company wants to avoid the prospectus provisions. Understand very carefully. If at all that 400-500 pager document में अगर आपसे एक भी गलती हो गई, तो in that case you will be penalized. You will be facing criminal penalty under 35. You will be facing civil penalty under 34. Okay, you will be facing very huge penalties if at all you do any mistake in that 400-500 pages. Okay. Now, the company wants to avoid all that. The company wants to get a shortcut. The company wants to avoid all that time pass. Therefore, what is the company doing? The company is going by a simple technique. The company is issuing shares to one person. Let's take, for example, Motilal Oswal. Motilal Oswal is the share broker. Okay, company is issuing shares to Motilal Oswal. Okay, by way of private placement. Now we just saw private placement is not a tedious procedure. Private placement is a very simple procedure. Okay, and Motilal Oswal is eventually going to sell these shares to the public. Okay, now what does Section 25 state? Section 25 states that when Motilal Oswal is going to issue shares to the public, they will have to issue any document. Now, just because Motilal Oswal is issuing that document, we will deem that document to be a prospectus issued by the company. And therefore, if there is any mistake in this document, Motilal Oswal will be penalized. Company will also be penalized. Okay, so where the company tried to act smart, the company is trying to issue all its shares to Motilal Oswal under a private placement offer. Okay, and then Motilal will give it to the public. So do you realize? Instead of the company giving it directly to the public, the company was going through the Motilal Oswal. In that case also, Section 25 will stand in front of you, and Section 25 will say, nah, Motilal ji, whatever document you are giving to the public, that will be a deemed prospectus issued by the company. And if there is any problem in that, Motilal will be caught, company will also be caught. But there are two cases. But there are two cases where this document will not be deemed to be a prospectus. Focus karna, two cases. This document will not be deemed to be a prospectus. Okay, two cases. What are the two cases? The two cases are, first, Motilal Oswal makes full payment. And second case is that where Motilal Oswal is selling shares to public 6 months after 6 months of allotment. So to remember, simple funda. If Motilal Oswal has purchased all the shares from, let's suppose, Reliance gave shares to Motilal Oswal. Motilal made the full payment. Of the shares. Now Motilal is the owner of this share. Whatever Motilal does, no problem. But understand, second case, if at all Motilal Oswal has not made the full payment, but Motilal Oswal, guys, is what he is doing is that he is selling the shares after a period of 6 months. What is he doing? Both these conditions need to be satisfied. Look at this case. Both these conditions need to be satisfied. Focus, ध्यान सुनना carefully. Has the allottee, focus karna very carefully, has the allottee, that is Motilal Oswal, sold shares to public within 6 months? Yes. Then that document will be deemed prospectus through which they are selling. Suppose Motilal Oswal has not sold it within a period of 6 months, but Motilal Oswal, that allottee, Motilal Oswal, has paid full consideration to the company, that is Reliance, okay, before offering for sale to the public. Have they paid the full consideration? Yes. So in that case, that document is not a deemed prospectus. But if at all no, No. So in that case, that document will be a deemed prospectus. So याद रखना, deemed prospectus बनने के दो chances होते हैं. पहला chance कहाँ पे? Where Motilal Oswal is selling the shares within a period of 6 months, definitely that document will be a deemed prospectus. दूसरा case, Motilal Oswal is not selling it within 6 months, but Motilal Oswal has not paid the full consideration. Motilal Oswal has not paid the full consideration, then that document will be deemed prospectus. But if at all both the cases get fulfilled, कौन सा case बच्चों? Motilal Oswal is selling after 6 months. Motilal Oswal has paid full consideration. Then in that case, it will not be a deemed prospectus. Are we crystal clear? समझ में आया बच्चों deemed prospectus? देखो एक MCQ solve कर लेते हैं. ध्यान सुना, MCQ देखो कैसे बनता है पेपर में. If the concept is clear, ध्यान से सुना. An issue house, that is Motilal Oswal, has made an advertisement in newspaper for selling a big lot of shares allotted to it by the company. So company ने क्या किया? कंपनी ने शेयर ब्रोकर को दिया, शेयर ब्रोकर पब्लिक को दे रहा है, ठीक है. एंड शेयर ब्रोकर क्या दे रहा है? एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट दे रहा है इन द न्यूज़पेपर, ठीक है. एंड अलॉटेड टू इट बाय कंपनी अंडर प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट. देख रहे हो, कंपनी ने शेयर ब्रोकर को प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट के अंदर दे दिया. In which of the following conditions the advertisement will not be deemed as a prospectus? Both the cases, advertisement is given after 6 months, the newspaper advertisement is given after 6 months from the date of allotment, and the share broker has paid entire consideration to the company. When both the conditions get fulfilled, guys, then in that case this advertisement will not be a deemed prospectus. But if at all any of these two is not satisfied, this document will be a deemed prospectus, and any mistake, the company will also be caught and share broker will also be caught. Are we clear with section number 25? समझा क्या बच्चों? Variation in the terms of contract हमने already पढ़ लिया है. याद है वो केस? तुम लोगों ने मुझे 100 करोड़ रुपया दिया for school. I was putting that money in hospital. ठीक है, that is this case, section number 27. Okay, हमने already chapter number 2 में cover कर लिया है. Offer for sale by certain members of the company. This is done by the promoters. Understand very carefully. Let's take for example today. Understand very carefully. ठीक है, today Radhakishan Damani. You guys know who is Radhakishan Damani? He is the promoter of DMart. He is the promoter of company DMart. Okay, he is the promoter of the company DMart. Now let's take for example, guys, Radhakishan Damani starts selling his shares in the stock market. He starts selling shares in the stock market. What will happen? There will be panic selling. People will start selling all the shares. The share market will crash. The share price will crash. Why? Because Radhakishan Damani is selling his own shares. Means what? Means Radhakishan Damani does not have confidence in DMart anymore. Therefore, he's selling the shares and he's getting out. Okay. Therefore, in order to avoid this, guys, there's a way, offer of sale. Right? What happens through this offer? Understand very carefully. Radhakishan Damani will tell the company, listen company, you make a prospectus. You give this prospectus to the public and you sell my shares to the public. You be the intermediary in between. Guys, when the prospectus will be shared, that time all the public will read the prospectus. They will come to know that there is no problem in the company. Radhakishan Damani is just selling his few shares. Okay, so in that case, there will not be panic selling. The share price will not fall down. So remember, offer for sale is a way for the promoter to get some liquidity, to sell his shares and get some liquidity. See, he can get his liquidity by directly selling the shares in the stock market. He can do that. But the moment he does that directly in the stock market, the share price will fall and nobody wants that. Therefore, you have to go through the company. And the fact being that whatever expenses being borne by the company, Radhakishan Damani will have to reimburse that to the company because company is doing something for Radhakishan Damani. Are we crystal clear with section number 28? Section number 28 समझ में आ गया होगा तुम बच्चों. Offer for sale, offer of sale of shares. नेक्स्ट बच्चों यहाँ पे अमेंडमेंट है, ध्यान सुनना. Public offer of securities. Hold on 1 second. Let me check if I have that document with me. Okay, carefully understand. In the case of DMAT, पहले केस में क्या था? What was the earlier case? Focus करना your securities, whether it might be equity shares, preference shares or debentures. ठीक है, all these securities earlier were in the paper form. ठीक है, now we have the electronic form, that is DMAT. बराबर, we have DMAT shares. ठीक है, now earlier they were being issued in physical share, that is a physical form, paper form. Okay, and now the concept is of dematerialization. Okay, now remember earlier, focus on earlier, before the amendment, unlisted private companies, unlisted public companies, they were allowed to issue, unlisted public companies, they were allowed to issue their shares in physical form. They were allowed to issue their shares in physical form. I'll give you an example of this company, Reliance Jio. Reliance Jio is an unlisted public company. Okay. Now, after the amendment, unlisted public companies, they cannot issue shares in physical form. They have to mandatorily issue shares in demat only. Okay, that is something that is told to you by 9A. And plus whatever is your past issued shares which are there, that demat में convert करो, and future issue जो है उसको भी तो हमें हमेशा demat में ही करना पड़ेगा. किसको? लिस्टेड पब्लिक को, अनलिस्टेड पब्लिक को, जितना भी पास्ट में फिजिकल में किया उसको डीमैट में कन्वर्ट करो. फ्यूचर इशू जब करोगे तो डीमैट में ही करना पड़ेगा. एंड दिस रूल 9 है, रिमेंबर, इट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल टू होम, इट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल टू गवर्नमेंट कंपनी, नॉट एप्लीकेबल टू निधि कंपनी, नॉट एप्लीकेबल टू अ होल्ली ओन्ड सब्सिडियरी. ये तीन चीजों को रूल 9 में अप्लाई नहीं होता. दैट इज द अमेंडमेंट इन दिस सेक्शन. ओके, I hope the concept is clear now. Okay. Now, what do you mean by shelf prospectus? Section number 31. Shelf prospectus, guys. I call shelf prospectus as a shortcut. Shelf prospectus is a shortcut. Why, sir? Why is it a shortcut? Ekdam simple funda hai, boss. If at all I know during the year I am asking money from the public right now, I will be asking more 2 times. I will be asking more 2 times. तो इन दैट केस मुझे हमेशा 400 पेजेस का डॉक्यूमेंट बनाना पड़ेगा. इतना टाइम रहेगा क्या? जीवन में इतना टाइम है क्या तुम्हारे पास कि हमेशा तुम 400 पन्ने के डॉक्यूमेंट बनाते जाओ? नहीं. तो इसके लिए सिंपली क्या करने का, पहली बार में एक शेल्फ प्रोस्पेक्टस बनाने का. क्या बनने का? पहली बार में एक शेल्फ प्रोस्पेक्ट बनाने का. ठीक है. उसके बाद बार बार वापस बनाने का नहीं. ठीक है. उसके बाद सिंपली क्या बनाने का? इंफॉर्मेशन मेमोरेंडम. क्या बनाने का? इंफॉर्मेशन मेमोरेंडम. और इंफॉर्मेशन मेमोरेंडम में क्या डालने का? इंफॉर्मेशन मेमोरेंडम में ये डेट से ये डेट के क्या डालने के? चेंजेस, जो चेंजेस हुए वो डालने के. ठीक है. सिमिलरली दूसरा, ये दिन पे मैं पैसा मंगा रहा हूँ, इंफॉर्मेशन मेमोरेंडम डालने का. ये दिन से ये दिन पे जितने चेंजेस है वो डालने का. ठीक है. नाउ रिमेंबर, शेल्फ प्रोस्पेक्टस प्लस योर इंफॉर्मेशन मेमोरेंडम becomes your total prospectus. ठीक है. Okay, that is your shelf prospectus concept. ठीक है. Is it compulsory? No, it is not compulsory. If you want, you can take this concept. If you want, you can take this shortcut. आपको मजा आता है 400 पन्ने का डॉक्यूमेंट बनाने के लिए, बनाओ, कोई बंदा नहीं है. अच्छा, क्या शॉर्टकट जीवन में सबको मिलता है? नहीं भैया, शॉर्टकट जीवन में सबको नहीं मिलता है. शॉर्टकट मिलता है केवल सेबी स्पेसिफाइड कंपनीज को. सेबी ने जिन कंपनीज को स्पेसिफाई किया है उन्हीं कंपनीज को मिलेगा. ठीक है. कोई कंपल्शन नहीं है, आपको करना है तो करो. ठीक है. ऐसा कुछ मैंडेटरी है, नॉट मैंडेटरी. शेल्फ प्रोस्पेक्टस प्रोविजंस आर एप्लीकेबल. आपको मजा आता है 400 पन्ने लिखने के लिए, लिखते रहो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. ओके. नेक्स्ट टाइप ऑफ प्रोस्पेक्टस बच्चों, रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस, RHP, रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस. रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस कब इशू होता है बच्चों? बुक बिल्डिंग में. जब बुक बिल्डिंग में इशू होता है. एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं सिंपल वाला. आज मैं बॉटल मैन्युफैक्चर करता हूँ, बॉटल, मुझे पता नहीं यार क्या भाव के बॉटल बिकेगी. आज साला मैंने 500 रुपए में बेचना चालू कर दिया, आपको लगेगा भाई ये तो बहुत सस्ता है. आज मैंने 5,000 में बेचना चालू कर दिया, आपको लगेगा बहुत महंगा है. तो मुझे पता ही नहीं है मेरे शेयर की वैल्यू क्या है. जब when I don't know my value of my share that I'm giving you, that time what I will give is that I will ask you to bid. मैं बोलूंगा कि भैया तुम बिडिंग करो. ठीक है. I will give you a range. Let's take for example the range is 500 to 550. I will tell you there are 5 rates: 500, 510, 520, 530, 540 and 550. ठीक है. आपकी मर्जी, आपको जिस पे बिड करना है करो. आपको लगता है शेयर का वैल्यू 500 है, 500 पे दे देना. आपको लगता है 550 है, आप 550 के भाव पे दे देना. ठीक है. तो इन दैट केस नाउ द कंपनी विल रिसीव बिड्स. नाउ द पोटेंशियल शेयर होल्डर, अंडरस्टैंड करना, पोटेंशियल शेयर होल्डर, ही विल गिव द बिड्स टू द कंपनी. वो कंपनी को बिड्स देगा. ठीक है. बिड्स कंपनी आ जाने का, कंपनी प्लस मर्चेंट बैंकर, ये दोनों बैठेंगे. दे विल सिट एंड दे विल डिसाइड डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द डिमांड. दे विल डिसाइड कि what is the value of the share where majority bids they have received. Let's suppose they have received majority bids for, assume करते हैं 540. Okay, so in that case whosoever who was bidding 540 and 540 above, they will get the shares. These guys will not get the shares. Okay, why? Because the share price that is confirmed is 540. We believe that the value of the share is 540. Whosoever allotted, whosoever has paid at 540 and above will get the shares. Okay, that is your concept of red herring prospectus. Therefore, why is the word red herring prospectus? Red herring, this word is coming from a fish. Okay, understand, red herring, this word comes from a fish. That fish is such that the actual red color you come to know after cooking. So similarly, red herring prospectus, you don't understand when you see the first prospectus, when you see the original prospectus, that time you will not understand what is the value of the shares. After all this tam jam, you will get the real value of the share, you will get the real color of the share. Again, that is the case, that therefore the word red herring prospectus. Okay, now let's look at what is the misstatement. Agar yadapi kadapi, if you do some jhol, if you do some kand, okay, if at all you are doing some activities in the prospectus, okay, if at all you have lied in the prospectus, then in that case, guys, remember there are two things: criminal liability under section 34 and civil liability under section 35. Okay, what do you mean by this? Focus karna. What is criminal liability? Sabse pehle to criminal liability is every person who authorized the prospectus, they will be punished by 4%. We have already seen. What is fraud ka penalty? Defenses kya hai? You can have only one defense, that the mistake that happened was immaterial and you had reasonable ground to believe that sentence. Okay, then you might be safe. But in the case of civil liability, focus karna. What do you mean by civil liability? Kab aayegi? Let's take for example, company issued a prospectus. Now, there are two people. Company has issued shares to Aakash and Mr. Raj. Okay. Now, understand very carefully. I read the prospectus of the company. Raj read the prospectus of the company, and we invested in the company. They gave the money. Company gave us shares. Company gave us shares. Okay. Let's suppose the allotment happened on 1st January 20. 1st January 20, the allotment happened, and we have. I also have the shares. Raj also has the share. Okay. Now, what happened was that, guys, let's suppose on the 1st February 20, I sold my shares. I sold my shares. Okay. Let's suppose I had got the shares at the rate of 500. I sold the shares at the rate of 600 and I left. I have sold the shares. Now I sold, let's suppose I sold the shares to Mr. X. I sold the shares as on 1st January 20. 1st February 20, I sold the shares. Now the shares are with Mr. X. Now let's suppose on 1st February 20, Mr. Raj was holding the shares. Mr. Raj has not sold. He is still holding. Now, what happened was that on the 14th of February, exactly on Valentine's Day, one of the girlfriend's director of the girlfriend, she gave a public notice that everything written in the prospectus is false. Okay, these directors, she was very angry with her boyfriend director. Okay, she got very angry and she gave a public notice that whatever is written in the prospectus is wrong. Now there was an inquiry and everything, and inquiry happened, and it was true that whatever was written in the prospectus was false. Ultimately, on the Valentine's Day, what happened was that the price of the share fell down. Okay, and now the share price, which was 600 some days ago, has now reached 60 rupees. Mr. Raj was still holding the share. Mr. X was still holding the share when this thing happened. Now, in this case, the question is that because the company wrote fraudulent things in the prospectus, okay, these investors, they lost their money. Okay, they have lost their money. They have faced a loss. Now, by virtue of section number 35, section 35 talks about civil liability. Civil liability means to reimburse the loss. Whatever loss is faced by you, I will reimburse it to you. Now, in this case, the company and everybody who authorized the share issue, the director, expert, everybody who wrote the prospectus, they will have to reimburse the loss to every investor who faced the loss. But remember, the loss will be reimbursed only to the original allottee. Mr. Raj was the original allottee. Mr. Raj read the prospectus and then he bought the shares. Mr. X never read the prospectus. Mr. X saw the market sentiment and he purchased the share. Therefore, Mr. X ka jo loss hua hai na, that will not be reimbursed. But Mr. Raj ka, yes, the loss that is faced by Mr. Raj, that will be reimbursed. Sir, what about you? Arey, I never faced the loss only. I sold the share and I left off. I sold the share, na. I sold the share. Let's suppose I got the share at 500, and before the announcement only, I sold the shares, let's take for example at 490. I got a 10 rupees loss. That loss will also not be reimbursed. That loss also not, because I sold the share based on the market sentiment. But this guy, and here in my example, though, any which was 500 ka share I sold at 600. I was in a profit. Okay, then I was never facing a loss only. Then the question of loss being reimbursed never arises on. Are you crystal clear with this concept, guys? समझ में आया civil liability concept? बोलो. Is the civil liability concept clear to everybody? Okay, civil liability means paying the compensation to the investor. Civil liability means paying the compensation to the investor. Okay. One second. Okay. Janki has not understood the concept. Beta, Janki, simple concept hai. Ekdam simple concept hai. You have to be aware of little bit of share stock market for this. Simple concept hai, beta. ठीक है कि what about the others? Have other people understood the concept? बाकी लोगों को concept समझ में आया? ओके, ठीक है. मेजॉरिटी ऑफ यू गाइस अंडरस्टूड. एक बार मैं रिपीट कर देता हूँ, ध्यान सुनो बच्चों. एकदम सिंपल कंसेप्ट है. अरे बेटा, कंपनी ने प्रोस्पेक्टस दिया, आकाश ने और राज ने प्रोस्पेक्टस पढ़ा, हम दोनों ने प्रोस्पेक्टस पढ़ा, हम दोनों ने कंपनी को पैसा दे दिया, कंपनी ने हमें शेयर दे दिया. ठीक है, कंपनी ने हम दोनों को शेयर दे दिए. अब क्या हुआ, ये कब हुआ? कंपनी ने हमें शेयर्स कब दिए बच्चों? 1 जनवरी को शेयर दे दिए, 1 जनवरी को शेयर्स दे दी. ओके, अब क्या हुआ बेटा, मैंने 1 फरवरी को, 1 महीने के बाद मैंने मेरे शेयर 600 रुपए में बेच दिए. मैं निकल गया. मैंने किसको बेच दिया? मिस्टर एक्स को. मैंने शेयर बेच दिया मिस्टर एक्स को. नाउ मिस्टर राज ऑन 1 फरवरी, मिस्टर राज वाज होल्डिंग द शेयर, ही वाज स्टिल होल्डिंग द शेयर्स. ठीक है, ही नेवर सोल्ड द शेयर्स. अब क्या हुआ, 14 फरवरी को नोटिस आया कि एवरीथिंग रिटन इन द प्रोस्पेक्टस वाज फॉल्स एंड देयरफॉर द शेयर मार्केट वेंट डाउन, द स्टॉक प्राइस वेंट डाउन, and the stock price which was trading at 600, now it is trading at 60. It is quite obvious the person who was holding the shares now is facing a huge loss. Why? Because I purchased the share at a high rate and now I have the value of the share is 60. So in that case I am facing a loss. So therefore I am facing a loss because of the company's mistake, right? Therefore company will reimburse me, but the company, remember, company will reimburse it only to the original allottee of shares, the person who read the prospectus and bought it. Now Mr. X never read the prospectus only. Mr. X bought it because of the market sentiment. Therefore Mr. X ka loss will not be reimbursed, only Raj ka loss will be reimbursed. Okay, and my loss would have been reimbursed provided I was holding the share now on that day. But मैं तो share holding नहीं कर रहा हूँ, I have to already sold the share. तो मेरा तो loss का सवाल ही नहीं उठता है. अब क्लियर हुआ जिसको नहीं समझ में आया था? yes, any prospectus कस्तूरी, any prospectus, yes. जान के अब क्लियर हो गया आपका क्वेश्चन? चलो, वेरी गुड बेटा. नाउ दिस इज वेरी सिंपल. ये तो सिंपल है, 447 पे आपको लेके जा रहा है. ओके, दैट these 2 points you can read on your own. Fraud का penalty we have already seen. Securities to be dealt with at the stock exchange. Whenever I'm allotting the shares, whenever I'm making a public issue, I have to make sure that I take the approval of the stock exchange. And remember, whatever stock exchange I go and ask, NSE, BSE, I have to make sure I get approval from all the stock exchanges. Okay, company to make the application to stock exchange, then I will offer to the public, then I will get the application on the public. After that, I will allot the shares. Ekdam simple funda hai. Securities to be dealt with in the stock exchange. This is a question. You can read this question on your own. Now, underwriting commission के ऊपर एक question है, ध्यान सुनना. What is underwriting commission? If at all, understand very carefully. If at all, let's suppose the minimum subscription, focus karna, in the case of IPO, minimum subscription I have kept, I am asking money from the public is 100 crores. Minimum subscription I have kept at 80 crores. I have kept the minimum as 80 crores. Minimum 80 crore I have to receive in order to, so that I can allot the shares. Now understand what is an underwriting commission. Why do I pay underwriting commission? Because let's suppose if I get money from the public worth only 75 crores, okay, then this additional 5 crore will be purchased by the underwriter. Okay, and they will make sure that the issue goes ahead. Okay, so this for giving the guarantee that they will subscribe to these shares. Okay, I have to pay an underwriting commission to the underwriter. Now, you majority times you get a question, how much underwriting commission can be paid? Understand karna? Shares shares, if I'm allotting shares to the public, 5% of issue price or rate specified in the articles, whichever is lower. And in case of debentures, guys, it is 2.5% of issue price or rate specified in the articles, whichever is lower. Okay. Remember, payment of commission has to be authorized by the articles, and commission may be paid out of proceeds of the issue or of the profit of the company or both. So there is no, understand very carefully. You can make the payment of the underwriting commission from the proceeds of the issue. If you remember, मैं 100 करोड़ मंगा रहा था ना, वो proceeds of the issue से मैं underwriting commission दे सकता हूँ, and along with that profit से भी दे सकता हूँ. Okay. And remember, you can pay the underwriting commission in cash and in kind also. There is a question in the study material which talks about that कि भैया आपको अगर ये देना है, ये देखो यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन है, देखो, look at this question. Unique Builders Limited decides to pay 2.5% of the value of debentures as underwriting commission to the underwriter, but articles authorize only 2%. हमने अभी देखा, in the case of debentures it is 2.5% or whatever is given in the articles, whichever is lower. तो भाई आप 2.5% नहीं दे सकते, आपको 2% ही देना पड़ेगा, whichever is lower. The company further decides to pay underwriting commission in the form of flats. चलेगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Remember, there is a restriction on the source, not on the mode of payment. मोड ऑफ द पेमेंट कैन बी बच्चों कैश और इन काइंड. ये काइंड में मैं दे सकता हूँ, ठीक है. मैं उनको ये 2% का जितना भी वैल्यू निकल के आ रहा है, लेट्स सपोज 2% अंडरराइटिंग कमीशन दूंगा, और अंडरराइटिंग कमीशन का जो वैल्यू है ना, वैल्यू वो 4 करोड़ निकल के आ रहा है, तो मैं उनको 4 करोड़ यार पैसा कैश में दे दूं, अकाउंट में भेज दूं, या फिर मैं उनको काइंड में 4 करोड़ का एक प्रॉपर्टी दे दूं, चलेगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ठीक है. यू कैन गिव इट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फ्लैट ऑल्सो, यू कैन गिव इट इन काइंड ऑल्सो. आर वी क्लियर विद दिस? ओके, very good. Last point बच्चों, securities to be dealt with in stock exchange. All money is received on application shall be kept in a separate bank account. This is very simple. Okay. और जो पैसा आया है, याद रखना, जो पैसा आपको पब्लिक से आया है उसका किसके लिए इस्तेमाल करना है? एडजस्टमेंट अगेंस्ट द अलॉटमेंट, मतलब शेयर आया, शेयर के अगेंस्ट में एडजस्टमेंट कर दूंगा, या फिर रिफंड करने के लिए, बस रिफंड करने के लिए मैं इस्तेमाल करूंगा. दिस इज द पेनल्टी. दिस इज वेरी सिंपल. Okay, very good. I've covered majority concepts of your prospectus chapter. I hope the prospectus chapter is also clear to you all. ठीक है. 3 chapters बच्चों आज अपने cover हो गए. Chapter number 1, chapter number 2, chapter number 3. It's almost around 1 o'clock. ठीक है. Very good. What I want you guys to do is that कि see अभी last के 5 minutes में कोई chapter cover नहीं होने वाला है. I just want to give you some tips right now for the today's day. आज का जितना पार्ट कवर हुआ है, प्लीज गाइज मेक श्योर दैट यू कवर इट टुडे ओनली, ठीक है. दीस 3 चैप्टर्स फिनिश इट ऑफ राइट अवे. टुमारो आल्सो आई ट्राई टू कंप्लीट 4 to 5 चैप्टर्स. ओके, 4-5, क्योंकि अभी सी डिविडेंड चैप्टर विल टेक मी हाफ एन आवर. योर अकाउंट्स फॉर द कंपनी चैप्टर इज आल्सो स्मॉल चैप्टर, दैट शुड नॉट टेक मी दैट मच टाइम. ऑडिट एज अ चैप्टर विल बी कवरिंग इन द दैट सब सिलेबस. कौन सा वाला? ऑडिट में, ठीक है. उसके बाद रजिस्ट्रेशन और चार्जेस हाफ एन आवर, डिपॉजिट हाफ एन आवर, ठीक है. तो कल छोटे वाले चैप्टर करेंगे, कवर करेंगे, ठीक है. नोट्स अदर लॉस का आई बिलीव आई माइट हैव टू कीप सम सेपरेट डे. ओके, आई विल डिस्कस विद द मैनेजमेंट इफ एट ऑल एनी डे इज अवेलेबल, देन आई कीप दैट सेशन. ओके, आई at least want to cover good amount of 60 marks of your syllabus, ठीक है. After this, guys, whenever you are writing the answers, okay, I received a question that sir what should be the answer criteria. Focus करो. You should try and cover your answer in this manner: provisions, facts of the case, conclusion. अच्छा, anybody who is not clear with the negotiable instruments chapter. negotiable instrument आपको बहुत डर लगता है मेरे चैनल के ऊपर, ठीक है. आई थिंक सो इट इज ऑल्सो टैग्ड अलॉन्ग विथ दिस चैनल ऑल्सो. सातारा विकासा नहीं है तो मेरे नाम के चैनल है, ठीक है. उस चैनल के ऊपर आपको गाइस डेफिनेटली मिल जाएगा. सी आकाश पेडनेकर का चैनल है, वहां पे मैंने नेगोशिएबल इंस्ट्रूमेंट को पूरा डिटेल में डाला हुआ है, ठीक है. यू कैन वॉच दैट चैप्टर ओवर देयर. और अगर आपको भाई अदर लॉस का भी आज का ही देखना है, ठीक है, इफ यू आर नॉट वेटिंग फॉर द डे व्हेन द लेक्चर इज गेटिंग आउट, मेरा नाम डाल देना यूट्यूब के ऊपर, आपको वहां पे भाई चैप्टर मिल जाएगा, ठीक है. नाउ आप हाउ आर यू सपोज्ड टू कवर इट? प्रोविजंस, फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस, कंक्लूजंस. प्रोविजंस, फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस, कंक्लूजन, ये 3 एरियाज में आपको कवर करना है. प्रोविजंस में आपको भाई प्रोविजन ऑफ द एक्ट लिखना है, ठीक है. फैक्ट्स में आपको बेसिकली क्वेश्चन को रिपीट करना है. एंड लास्ट कंक्लूजन में applying the provisions to the facts of the case, we can conclude that. Okay, this is the usual way of writing a case study based answer. Got it? case study based answer बच्चों इस तरह से कवर करना है. Okay, अच्छा, Another important point is that कि when you are solving the paper, guys, please make sure 1:45 PM से लेकर जब 2 PM का आपका टाइम है, उसमें प्लीज सारे क्वेश्चन अच्छे से पढ़ो, देखो आपको कौन सा क्वेश्चन अच्छे से आ रहा है, ठीक है, उन्हीं क्वेश्चन को पहले अटेम्प्ट करना, ठीक है। उसके बाद रिमेंबर 2 PM टू ऑलमोस्ट 2:45, ठीक है, दिस पार्ट शुड गो इन योर एमसीक्यूज खत्म कर दो, खेल खत्म कर दो एमसीक्यू का। आफ्टर दैट 2:45 से लेकर 4:30 ऑल क्वेश्चंस यू नो वेरी वेल, उसमें डाल दो, ठीक है, पूरे जो जो आंसर आ रहा है उसको पहले लिखो। एंड लास्ट का 4:30 PM टू 5 विल बी फॉर द बोनस आंसर्स जो आपको नहीं आ रहे हैं, और प्लस प्रेजेंटेशन अंडरलाइन करने के लिए, ठीक है। अगर आप सेक्शन लिख रहे हो तो प्लीज इसको अंडरलाइन करो, वो सब कामों के लिए आपको लास्ट का आधा घंटा इस्तेमाल करना है, ठीक है। गॉट इट? ओके, I've just guided you against the writing pattern also. Deepak, yes beta, don't worry, you guys have registered. I'll share the notes with Rishikesh ji, send it to you on email. Okay sir, you are rocking, 3 chapters complete. मैं खुद से भी 2 घंटे में नहीं कर पाया, so thank you so much बेटा, ठीक है। Naman, I am not privy to sharing the contact number beta, I won't be able to share the contact number on the public platforms, ठीक है। So but you can check with Rishikesh ji, okay, you can check with Rishikesh ji, आपको भाई ऋषिकेश जी से नंबर मिल जाए, ठीक है। Thank you guys, चलो, okay, on that note, thank you so much guys, okay, don't waste even 1 minute, don't waste even 1 minute of your time, okay। अभी भाई टाइम नहीं है, टाइम बिल्कुल नहीं बचा है ये वेस्ट करने के लिए। किसी को चाहिए तो इसका स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो, ये आपके एग्जाम वाली स्ट्रेटेजी है। कल मैं आपको ये स्ट्रेटेजी बताऊंगा, कल मैं आपको सेशन डे जब चालू होगा ना, तब मैं आपको स्ट्रेटेजी बताने वाला हूँ, व्हाट यू शुड डू एग्जैक्टली ऑन द डे ऑफ योर एग्जाम, ठीक है। कौन सा चैप्टर कब रिवाइज करना है, कितना टाइम डालना है, वो कल सुबह बताऊंगा, ठीक है। गॉट इट? आई होप यू गाइस हैव एंजॉयड इट, एंड मेक श्योर कि यू टेल योर अदर फ्रेंड्स आल्सो हु हैव येट नॉट रजिस्टर्ड, एटलीस्ट उनके कल के बैलेंस चैप्टर्स तो कवर हो जाएंगे, ठीक है। ये वीडियो तो वेनी विच यूट्यूब के ऊपर अवेलेबल है, ठीक है। डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम, सिर्फ 1 महीना बचा हुआ है, जितना दम लगाना लगा दो। जब तक याद रखना, जब तक बॉडी थक हार के नहीं आ रही ना, जब तक बॉडी थक नहीं रही है, ठीक है, कि भाई और दिमाग में नहीं जाएगा, तब तक बेड पे सोने मत जाना, ठीक है भाई। ये लास्ट का 1 महीना बचा है, 1 इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप इन योर करियर, इन योर लाइफ। बस ये 1 महीना पढ़ लो, एक महीना और एग्जाम के जितने दिन में बचे पढ़ लो, ठीक है। ये पढ़ लोगे ना, आपकी लाइफ सेट हो जाएगी। ये मैं ऐसे ही बोलने के लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, ठीक है। वी हैव क्वालिफाइड दीज एग्जामिनेशंस, तो वी नो दैट देयर इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी एनी प्रॉब्लम फ्रॉम योर करियर स्टैंडपॉइंट। गॉट इट? अंडरस्टूड? 1 महीना है तुम्हारे पास, जी जान लगा दो, ठीक है। जितना भी दम है उतना लगा दो, ठीक है। पूरी बॉडी इतना दम लगाना है कि भाई खुद की बॉडी को इतना स्ट्रेच करो तुम लोग कि भाई ऐसा तुम्हें लगना चाहिए कि भाई हाँ, ये लास्ट 1 मंथ तुम्हें लाइफ टाइम याद रहना चाहिए, ठीक है। और वो करना पड़ता है, सब लोग कर रहे हैं, देयर इज नो, जो करने वाले देखो, जो करने वाले वो पास होने वाले, ठीक है। जो भाई अभी भी ऐसे सोच रहा है अरे सर मैं 5-6 घंटे के ऊपर नहीं पढ़ सकता हूँ, बेटा where there's a will there's a way, after every November there's a May, come again, ठीक है। चलो, on that note, thank you so much guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, चलो bye, take care, bye bye, okay bye।